honestly about race with vulnerability, because none of us are perfect, but really call this country to common ground, to reconciliation. I'm not sure if Vice President Biden is up to that task, given the way this last 3 weeks have played out.
On stage Thursday night, Kamala Harris confronted Biden about his record on busing back in the 70s. The California senator in her home state today, wearing a rainbow sequin jacket. She participated in the Pride Parade in San Francisco, also speaking at the Pride rally there today. The crowd estimated at 100,000 in New York City for the Pride Parade here.
We will survive!
The marchers passed by the Stonewall Inn on the National Register of Historic Places, a riot there 50 years ago by gay patrons tired of humiliating police raids, is considered the start of the Pride movement. No surprise, it's still #1.
Oh, what are you doing here?
No time to Toy Story 4, again starring Tom Hanks as Cowboy Woody, brought in another $57.9 million to finish first. I'm Jane Metzler, and this is Fox News.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data-to-Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data-to-Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has called the legislature into special session this morning to consider a bill authorizing the Attorney General to join the growing list of jurisdictions filing lawsuits against the makers of polyfluoroalkyl chemicals that may have tainted water here on Guam and across the nation. Passage of the bill authorizing litigation is time sensitive because there's a deadline for filing lawsuits against the manufacturers of the chemicals known as PFAS chemicals. The companies facing litigation include multinationals like DuPont and 3M. Attorney General Levin Camacho urging quick action, saying the legalization is already in place to allow multiple plaintiffs to seek monetary damages and other remedies. Use of the chemicals has been phased out in recent years after studies showed they pose serious health risks, including reproductive harm and an increased risk of certain cancers. The special session is slated to begin at 10 o'clock this morning. Boy Scouts of America have offered to settle 44 sexual abuse cases involving children on Guam decades ago. The offer was made Friday during a joint status hearing before Chief District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood and Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo. Attorney Michael Berman said the proposed settlement amounts are sensitive and confidential. They were not released. He said he still has to meet with another 30 or so clients about the settlement offers, but he told the court that the about 15 clients that he has met with so far have all agreed to the settlement that has been offered. The next status hearing in the cases has been set for August 16th. We'll have more news after this.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. During a legislative hearing Friday, Bank of Guam Chief Economist Joe Bradley took no position, pro or con, on a bill that proposes increasing the minimum wage on Guam, but the testimony he offered suggested that the concerns raised by opponents of a wage increase are not justified. Bradley said the two major concerns about raising the minimum wage are that prices will increase and unemployment will grow, but he said research suggests neither is true, at least not in most cases. Bradley said the main reason a hike in the minimum wage causes prices to rise is that affects only a small portion of a business's total revenue. Senator Will Castro's Bill 142 proposes increasing Guam's minimum wage from $8.25 an hour now to at least $8.75 by July next year and $9.25 by July of 2021. Mary Rhodes, the president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, said compared to prior year surveys, more association members this year said they would raise their prices if the wage increase bill is passed. The Trump administration Saturday announced the nomination of career senior Foreign Service officer Yuri Kim to be the U.S. ambassador to Albania. Kim is from Guam. She graduated from the Academy of Our Lady and went on to earn a bachelor's degree from the University of Pennsylvania and a master's from Cambridge University. Kim has served in the Department of State as the director of the Office of Southern European Affairs. She previously was the director of the State Department's Center for the Study of Diplomacy and chief of staff to the Deputy Secretary of State. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray now takes a look at our weather.
I've got isolated showers today, Kevin. Mostly sunny skies with a high near 90 degrees. Heat index values as high as 97 degrees. That's going to make the mud flats all sweaty today. Winds from the east, 9 to 13 miles an hour. Expected sunrise today was at 5:57. We'll watch the sunset together in another dazzler last night at about 6:52 or so tonight. 6:11 in the morning. And let me see if I've got enough windows open right now. I might be able to get this thing up here so you can see what the weather radar is looking like. No, that's not the weather radar. Hold on. There's another button I'm supposed to push to get the weather radar on the screen. That's it. Hold on. Let me scooch it down so you can take a look at it. And now with his interpretation of what our radar looks like, here's Duke Skywalker, Sky Talker Jr. I get Real Joe Cruz.
Looks like blobbage to the left of us, systems to the right, and I'm stuck in the middle with you.
There's a dye sublimation here. I can see that clearly going on. We've got the PFASs and the PFAZs to the north and south of us, and expected submergence in the boundaries before noon today. So watch out for that. Actually, it's showing some clouds that are moving in from the eastern side, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot that's going to be coming into our direction. And don't see a whole lot by way of any kind of rainage through that area as well. Been having a hard time getting the Himawari loop up on this screen here. I'm going to see if I can find one over at Pirates Cove in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, at 6:13 or so, that's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
The sky's the limit with Bank Pacific's secure MyCloud banking. You can access your account 24/7 with your smartphone, your computer, your iPad, or any other tablet. You can pay bills, set up alerts, check your balances, wire transfer money. It's never been easier. Enroll online or come on in and see one of our friendly staff. Digital Life, Digital Solutions. Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
I see it. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. Points also brought to you by APL Global Presence with a local home. I think we got a new logo phrase over at the APL place. Try that again so it rolls off my tongue. They're global presence with a local home. I like that. Kings. Now, my friends over at Cars Plus, you're going to love running over to Cars Plus and check out the deals they've got. Still looks like we've got some Performance Day events that are happening for you. Charger SXT Pluses and Challenger GTs, financing as low as 1.99% on your very, very good APR. The Ray Gibson Show brought to you by my friends over at Ruby. Tuesdays, 2 endless garden bars. Like I said, it's an open bar for salad. 2 tasty entrees and a dessert to share for a terrific price. RT 2-for-1 Tuesdays. 2 complete meals for a terrific value of just $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays, Guam.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
All right, I think I got everything where it's supposed to be here. It's Monday morning on the program, and today's theme is it's a short work week. We got 4-day week ahead of us here, friends. At least that's the way I see it here at the radio station. Program note: there's not going to be a Ray Gibson morning show on Thursday, the 4th of July, because you know why? Because it's a holiday. Is Independence Day, as it were, for most of us. And even though I don't know that I've been a big part of the celebration of our nation's independence for all of my 57 years, I'm taking the day off on declaring my own independence on that particular morning. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more. Let me just go round the horn here and see who I get to play with this morning. Who's that guy? It's Real Joe Cruz, who is sitting in for Duke Sky Talker. Michael Knight still languishing and enjoying some family time and birthday time in the Philippines. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a big island nation off to the west of us over there, and they got really good food, and you can get all kinds of fantastic grind there, and all kinds of goofing off and fun in the middle of the days and the nights. So that's always a good time. So Mike's over there, and Real Joe Cruz is subbing for him for today and tomorrow. And then back to the regular schedule with just Bob Klitsky and Tall Tales after that. Also in the studio, we got very close to personal friend Kevin Kerrigan. That is the amazing Kevin Kerrigan from the likewise amazing Guam Daily Post. And there's a ton of stories in the Guam Daily Post that we might want to go over. But in kind of a rare moment here, the Daily Post on the front page with a national international story. You guys are really big up on the local stuff. But then we've got this story here.
Yeah, it's been known to affect our region, hasn't it?
Right?
Trump and Kim.
Trump, yeah, dancing with each other over at. They got the diplomatic French kiss over at the DMZ, and in North Korea, first sitting president to have ever gone off in that direction. That is a massive deal on a lot of different levels. There's certainly some version of history has been made now that has been done. And who knows? Now, does this mean that there's going to be loving and everlasting peace in the region? Will North and South Korea find a way to get past 75 years of their 70 years of their own problems?
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far either. I just say now because all stories are local stories. I mean that's always been my theme as a guy on the radio over the years. All stories are local stories. Trump meeting Kim at the DMZ. What's the local angle on this? I mean, just the fact that Kim, the North Koreans have been kind of testy over the last bunch of years, missile tests and things like that. Will there be a change? Does this change our complexion here on Guam when it comes to being the tip of the spear? Or is there still China
I don't think so.
that we need to, in terms of the defense of the country, of the United States?
It doesn't change our position at all.
No. All right. So
And I don't think it'll change much in the long run.
So it's not going to stop the buildup. They're not going to go, okay, we're friends now. We don't need to do the buildup anymore. We'll just keep the Marines in Okinawa.
No. That's not going to happen.
It's the easy speculation that we get into here this morning, but there's a couple of other really interesting things in here, and I guess we're all going to learn the correct pronunciation of polyfluoroalkyl because we're going to go.
That sounds pretty good. That's
right?
the way I did it too.
Polyfluoroalkyls. You got to break it down. You can't read the whole word as one word. You got to break it down in its individual components. Polyfluoroalkyl substances in the island's drinking water, and the question is, has this been in my drinking water all of my life, and will it explain the irascible nature of the host of this program because I've got PFASs in my brain?
Jeez, I hope not.
What is PFAS? What is this something that makes kids get born naked or what?
Apparently, they were commonly used in all kinds of products, consumer products as well as industrial products.
I mean, does it explain
decades.
Joe? is there anything we can go? And yeah, Joe's like that because we had PFASs in the water when we were growing up.
Commonly used around military bases.
Yeah, and we drank out of the hose when we were kids, and they told us not to, and now we know why, because it's the PFASs. And a great opportunity now for jurisdictions just like Guam to be able to have our attorney generals go on a lawsuit spree. I wonder how much that could be worth. To the people. That might be worth. It might be worth finding out. Otherwise, is it just another one of these touchy-feely good pieces of legislation that comes out of the 35th, where we're looking for? I went to last night. I was invited to one of the soft opening things for Red Lobster. Red Lobster down in Tumon. It used to be you get that whole Tumon Sands, and that was all super high end duty free kind of stores, and $50 scarves and $8,000 watches and purses. Oddly, people been crazy about buying purses with somebody else's name on it already. Anyways, so they had a whole lot of that going on, and they still do, but a budding number of restaurants. So I went there last night, and they walked in and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gibson, your table's not ready just yet. Would you like to sit at the bar and enjoy a drink at the bar?" And I get there, and there's a pretty little girl. They hired, by the way, the guys over at Red Lobster, they hired all of the pretty waitresses from all of the other restaurants. So if you go into one of the other restaurants and you're looking around going, well, there's the frumpy ones, there's the Prairie Mom ones, but where's the hot local ones? Well, they're all over at Red Lobster now. But I get there, and one of the pretty girls, she says, I made these just now, and I want you to try it. And she hands me a sangria. Normally wouldn't drink a sangria, and I did, and it was still a little bit. It still had a little burn from the alcohol, but there was ice in it. I figured, maybe I'll just stir this thing around and drink it once it's diluted a little bit. Maybe I'll enjoy it more. And I said, "Can I get a straw?" And these little kids behind the bar, and it's like we need to call somebody, don't we? What do you mean a straw? You want like a coffee stirring straw? I said, no, I want a plastic straw for which I can stir this around and then drink from the straw. Just a second, sir. Do you have two forms of identification? And what is the name of your firstborn? I'm being dramatic now, but it was just one of those things where it wasn't right there. They did not have the thing right there. I guess everybody's being environmental conscious. And what the heck? We got to worry about these polyfluoroalkyls that are out floating around in the universe and in the water that we're all drinking and have drank apparently since we were like little children. 888-255-888-TALK is my telephone number. And let me see if there's anybody hanging out on Facebook Live. I'm looking at the numbers here, but I'm also looking at my screen doing the rotating thing. Like it's got to call somebody up. So it might be a minute before I get into it. I did not this time have a chance to see who came in first. Al Bautista is the first name that I see on the screen. Then there's Pat and Norma Jean Flores, John Ray Titano, John Marcinus. St. Nicholas is there saying good morning all day. Everybody that is lined up. Nick Perlowski and the usual. Hoyt, there's Ismail Velez. And Ismail, he's got a, what's he playing around here with? Is like the New Year's Day horn and then the smiley face. Yay Monday, he says. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez says, Biba, Guam, Biba. Oh, is it soon to be Biba Independent Guam? There's all kinds of people asking about it these days, including Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, who has gone to, I think, every Pride event across the nation in the last little bit. You know, we can't bring that guy from the States, that World War II veteran, Rosengren. We can't bring him out here for liberation. But we sure do have a lot of traveling going on these days with a bunch of other people. I see Patty Santiago is there. Al Bautista says, wow, first place today. Going to be a great day. Leave starts today, huh? Is that what's going on there, Brett? Nice. Good for you. Says, leave is going to be starting today and will arrive tomorrow to my beautiful island. We'll be looking forward to seeing you, Al, and just where are you coming in from? I got a friend. Her name is Benji. And Benji we were talking about doing something last night. I don't know, 6, 7 o'clock, and I sent her the text on the Facebook thing, in Messenger. I said, okay, well, this is where I'll be, and that's what we can do, and nothing. About 9 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock last night, I get this call from the sleepy, gravelly-voiced Benji. And she's like, Mahal, sorry, I just woke up. She'd just flown in from Charleston or someplace like that, and she's back in town, but her body is still there. She might physically be here, but and you know how that jet laggy thing works out, Al. So I wish you good luck when you make your way back to Guam and build in some extra time and do whatever it is that you're supposed to do when you're moving in this direction so that you don't get all jet laggy. Who else is playing around? Valerie Lynn Maige. And Valerie, I'm going to take a look at an email. In fact, why don't you send me an email, Valerie Lynn Maige, and give me an idea as to whether or not anything has changed in the lineup for the 4th of July celebration that's going to be taking place over at Polaris Point. Dennis Bensour is online, is one of the 2 Piratas del Amor that was posted up on Facebook over the weekend. I got Melissa Perlowski out there. What do you guys got, like 2 radio things going on? I got Nick and Melissa. This is cool. Carissa Flores, Edilberto Santo de Castro saying, good morning, Guam. Adonis Mendiola. Mike Geisinger celebrating 60 years over the weekend. Happy birthday to you, big brother. Marvin Ikeseki. There's Yoich Rengil. Who's shooting out the Ungil Tutao. Nice to see you there, buddy. Randy Kruger, Cheryl Ochai, Bobby Tobis, Rose Greeno. I got Heather Perez saying buenas, everybody. Pam Duvall, Evan Montville Cohen, and Eunice Mendiola hanging out this morning. Vivian Cunningham, Bev Blas Jesus, James Schmidt. This is nice. I'm seeing some names here that don't normally see on a regular. It's nice to see that we've got some new habits. Al Bautista, you will not see on the news, but when he was done at the DMZ, he came down to Osan Air Force Base, spent a little bit of time with the troops. So we got Trump. He's obviously in Korea. Did he already do the Japan thing? Okay, so that's all done, and then he's going to be winging his way back across the Pacific to Washington D.C. to return to the seat of power. And do we know if he's going to be stopping by here on Guam?
Unlikely.
They said that last time, and then he was here. You remember?
We can always be surprised.
It's just one of these early morning phone calls to the governor's office. Find Pudding. Pudding will know. What have I got? Tony and Ed and Pinko. Momi Moyland is there. Gwen Tominglu enjoying her summer. Levon Guerrero Meno. And some of the names are going to be repeating here, and I think it has to do with Facebook doing its thing again. Carlos Barreto is there. Camp Walker. Daegu, South Korea as well. Man, Al, you ought to be our correspondent here. Ton of stuff. Ton of information coming out from where you are. Currently 6:27 in the morning. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. The Point. Hope you had a great weekend. I don't know. Mine was absolutely full. Do you mind me taking a couple of minutes to talk about personal stuff here this morning? So it got to be, I was able to hit the road and actually do some running, about 3 miles of road running on Friday. You got to understand, so I've been injured for about a month and a half, and so I was able to get some treadmill a couple of weeks ago, and that felt good. But it felt even better at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon to be running around dirty, stinky, sweaty Tumon. And when I was done with that, met up with some friends on the beach side. So I run on the roadside and then went down not too far away from in between the Hyatt and Dusit. And hung out with some friends and caught the sunset there. And that was, what a great way to start the weekend. Just watching the sunset and Saturday, kind of a blurs, all kinds of stuff that was going on over the weekend. Yesterday I had, for the first time in this century, first time in the 2000s, went on a boat dive.
Nice.
Yes.
Finally, you've done it.
Well, it was, I don't know, I forget why, but there was something rolling around in my head a few weeks ago about wanting to get back into diving. I dove a lot in the 1980s with Pete Peterson and Jim McWhorter and the guys at the original MDA when it was still down in Agate, back in the old days when MDA was down in the Agate store. And, got away from it. Since then, maybe I'd gone down once or twice. Great Barrier Reef. I went on a fam trip down to Australia, went to the Great Barrier Reef. That was literally cool. The water was too cold. So you get used to the temperatures here on Guam. You'll never be able to dive anywhere else. And so I went down with Sam Beanie and her husband Mel. And Fred, and I think Jaylene was the girl's name. I'm dying to remember the name of the fellow with the GoPro. This guy had one of these, which is a great reason to get into diving, because there's stuff. You get to carry a knife, right? And you got GoPro. They got like GoPro stuff for days. Little housings that you can get with lights. I mean, it's like your own little television station right there at the end of a stick. And I thought it was just absolutely great. I mean, to get down there. So we got on a boat down at Cabras. And can I just say, one of the things comforting about diving is the number of things that stayed the same. And it's also one of the unnerving things about diving is the number of things that have stayed the same. I remember launching out of there back in the 1980s, thinking, "Wow, this place down here, this harbor of safe refuge, what a blank hole it is. It looks like it must have looked before the Second World War. It's just this open thing of water, and it's got these jetties of one kind or another, and there's all kinds of excursions leaving out of there. They got dolphin watching, they go out of there. We got diving that goes out of there. You got booze cruises and stuff that go out of there, and it's got maybe one of the worst old roads on Guam. This is, and somebody was asking, well, it's private property, isn't it? No, it belongs to the Port Authority of Guam. And you take a look at Boat Basin, and you go, I guess that's okay. You go down to the boat place down in Agate, and you go, yeah, I guess that's okay. But then you go down to this other place, and like I said, it just looks like hell. And I'm wondering, what did we get? Is any of the $74 million, Roy, that we got in that loan? Can we use any of that to spruce the place up? Put another layer of asphalt on the roadway that goes in and all the way around, and maybe go to some of the people that are operating some of these excursions and say, I don't know, maybe just a coat of paint or something like that. Because it just looks like hell, and I can't imagine that there are people that the number of people that go in and out of that place on a weekly basis, and there we are, just got this kind of ugly throwback feel to it. Oh, speaking of ugly, did you see where social media blew up? Did you see where that woman, and I'm looking at the clock now, it's 6:32, I'm late for headlines. Let me jump into headlines, we'll come back, and we'll talk about the snubbery on the social medias over the weekend that seemed to make everybody's head explode because somebody said the people around here are ugly. It's 6:32 and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: a stabbing victim was brought to Naval Hospital Saturday night. Acting Guam Fire Department spokeswoman Cherika Chargaloff said the 911 call came in about 8:30 Saturday night. She said the man appeared to be in his 20s. He was brought to the Talafofo fire station where medics then transported him to Naval Hospital. No information on the condition of the man has been released yet by police. Pope Francis gave Archbishop Michael Burns the pallium during a mass at the Vatican Saturday. The pallium is an insignia which is worn around the shoulders and neck. It is made of lamb's wool and is meant to symbolize the Archbishop's role as a shepherd of the faithful. In a statement, Burns said the role of the shepherd is to carry out the most vulnerable on his shoulders, and in a particular way, he said, our attempts to bring a measure of justice and consolation to those who have suffered abuse at the hands of clergy in the past. The insignia, he said, is also a reminder that he belongs to the flock and he has an obligation to bring healing to the faithful. Burns took on the leadership of Guam's Catholic Church, which is facing bankruptcy brought on by more than 200 sexual abuse lawsuits and diminishing church attendance. The Department of Administration is sending out 1,300 tax refund checks today, totaling about $3.8 million. The latest batch of refunds covers error-free returns filed as of February 6. Taxpayers can expect refunds to be garnished if they owe money to Guam Memorial Hospital or fines payable to the judiciary of Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got to do a shout before we get into anything. My very close friend, her personal friend, Renee Logie, she's online. Oh, not there anymore. She's moved. Whirlwind European tour that she is on. And I when I wrote to her on Facebook, I said, in jolly old England, she's like in Paris. Bonjour. But she got to do something real unique. Number one, she got to go watch a Major League Baseball game. Red Sox and the Yankees. And she got to watch them in England. Whoa. Can you imagine? And there's some great shots. If you're following her on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen a couple of them. Benita Manglotnia is out there as well. And nice to see Katie Pellicani online here this morning. It's 6:35 or so, and we'll call that time from our friends over at iConnect. And you are going to love the incredible packages that they put together for you just because it's the summertime. And they want you to save some money on bandwidth. Maybe you're just going to be here for a little bit. Grab yourself one of those phones. They're almost disposable phones anymore, but they've got these great plans, great packages. So if you just need to make a phone call, send a text, maybe upload a picture to Facebook every once in a while or WhatsApp. Those are the people to talk to at iConnect, 635.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
6:35 in the morning. Gonna go get something to eat over at Wendy's, and my suggestion is you take a look at the Made to Crave menu that they've got at Wendy's. You hit this stuff in the drive-thru and enjoy the way that they put some of these things together for you. Last couple of weeks ago, it was Made to Crave, and they were talking about hamburger sandwiches, but anymore, it's Made to Crave menu with the great tasting, good for you chicken sandwich, including the chicken sandwich that's got BLT on it. So you got the beginnings of the BLT, and they put all of that on a sandwich on a bed of chicken, and then they're going, it's good, just pretty. But you know how you are when you're cooking. You know what this needs? They're looking around and go, you know what this needs? Avocado. So they avocado, BLT, and chicken for you. Try that today at Wendy's.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
It's 6:37 in the morning. 888-255-888-TALK is my telephone number. You can WhatsApp me at 988-5874 if you've got some just killer video, some viral stuff, or something somebody sent you on Facebook or on whatever that's just making you laugh. Share it. It will make us laugh here at the radio station as well. All right, traffic gizmo time Monday morning. Let me see if anybody's in a hurry to get to work today. No, nobody is in a hurry to get to work. We got traffic north and southbound coming coming out of Anderson Air Force Base, and then it kind of gives up. It gets from Anderson just south of the church, and it just kind of stops. Just okay, that's enough out of us here for a little bit. It'll pick up again on its way down into the Wysang Song area. It looks like we might have a little bit of traffic leading up over by where the farmers market is. I just zoomed on it and it disappeared completely. Might be a little bit of traffic over at the intersections at the AB Wanpat International Airport. Some of the other intersections are reporting a little bit busy today. And then up by Tumon, somewhere between you get the Hyatt on this side, the Sandcastle on this side, and the Slingshot. Traffic seems to be moving a little bit slow up the road towards DFS from there. I don't know why, but just kind of watch out for it if you're going to be in that particular area. Don't see anything that's going to be slowing you down between there and the downtown Hagetty area. Big Navy's looking good. Doesn't look like there's anybody getting into Navy Hospital right about now. So I think we're going to be okay. 6:38, and that's right now traffic on the point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
What do we got? Pam online was talking about the social media blurb that somebody put up there, and maybe I was just doing stuff. I was just busy over the weekend and went out did some fast hiking with my guys on Saturday, and that was fun. And it was down in where do we end up at? In Arahan. And I was looking forward to, because there were other things that were floating around on social media last week that got my attention, including the images of the Inarahan pools everywhere, the area that was just absolutely trash. They're just mounds of trash, and I'm going, somebody needs to go and clean that up, and nobody seems to want to go and clean that up. Now, people will ask, Ray, is it possible that we might be able to press the issue with the people that actually brought in the trash? Somebody went and they had a good time, and there was a big party over at Inarahan Pool, and they didn't take the trash with them. They put it in a bag and then piled it up one on top of the other, but they didn't actually take it out with them. Now, I don't think it's too much to ask. For people, if you're going to use the park facilities, you're going to have a good time, take the trash out. Take it out with, especially if it doesn't look like there's any place to put it. Take the trash out with you and do it. I don't think I have to tell that to people that have got a grain of common sense in their head. Obviously, there are people that do not have anything like a grain of common sense in their head, and so we've got to come up with other ways to deal with it, i.e., the mayor needs to go down there and pick it up. People in Iran, somebody needs to speak very urgently with the mayor about keeping that place clean. It is in my mind one of the jewels. That place, an absolute jewel in the cultural and viewpoint. It's just a nice place, for heaven's sakes. So what do we got to do to figure out how to keep that place clean? And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what it is, other than somebody's got to be in charge of picking up the trash down there. And in my mind, if it comes down to if last guy standing is the mayor, and if nobody else has picked it up, if the people that took it there didn't pick it up, if we didn't get the Boy Scouts to clean it up, if we didn't get a group of roving Navy guys who are out here on a visit to Guam to pick it up, then guess what? It's your job. Get out there, and if what are we paying mayors anymore? Kevin, do you know how much a going salary is for a mayor?
More than senators.
More than senators, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's like $75,000, $80,000, isn't it?
Yep.
So for $80,000, can you put on a pair of gloves and go pick up some trash? I know the problem is it'll be trashed again tomorrow, and so that's where you get some of the boys in the village. It's the way I would have done it. Right? That's the way I would have done it. I would have gotten the guys, the guys with the zigzag tattoos, the zigzag dude tattoos, right? Because they're the regulators in the village. So where are the regulators in Iran that can go down there and you see the people that are partying and you just know they're going to make a mess and just go, hey, dude, Going to clean this place up before you leave, right? Don't make me come back. I'll come back. I'm going to remember your face. Huh? And then I'm going to break it if you don't clean up around here. You know, we just need the old regulator style, I think, in order to get things maybe the way they're supposed to be here. But anyway, so that it has to do with, my view of the place on Saturday night. That was about 5-ish, 6-ish, just before sunset when I passed by there. And I thought, man, that's terrible. But terrible over the weekend. And like I said, I didn't see the original post. I saw Romeo's, he made a graphic of it that he posted on his place on Facebook. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, it's not the nicest things to say about Guam and your people and your experiences here. I wish everybody, I wish everybody had just the best, most incredible time when they get to spend here on Guam. But not everybody's going to.
She was just looking in the mirror too much.
You think, there's too many ugly people. I've never seen so many ugly people in my life here until I moved to Guam. And like I said, the internet blows its mind around here. And what is it? What are we mad at? Is it because is somebody the Holly that said it? Is it because a Holly in the military that said it? Is a Holly lady in the military that said it? What exactly is it that made us mad? That somebody had the temerity to say that they were having kind of an unpleasant time here on Guam, as opposed to me. Could I get away with something saying something like that? Can I get away with saying, take a look at, where's it, on the Guam Daily Post here, page 6 on Saturday's newspaper. Go get that. I had to pull the whole page out. Normally, I would have just done clippings, but I had to pull the whole page out here, and we've got Joey and Ignacio and Reiko. And Joey was arrested on 7 home and car break-ins. We got a guy, Ignacio, and police pulled him over. I guess he was the back of a. They had towed his car, and it was causing sparks to fly on the side of the road. So the police pulled the tow truck and the car over. And who's the owner of the car? And there's Ignacio. That's mine. And they found inside syringes and a substance contained within a heat-sealed straw that tested positive for amphetamines. And then we got Reiko. Drugs found in the guy borrowed somebody's car, didn't return it, so they called the cops to go find the car. Cops found the car, and he's inside sleeping. And when they're like, Reiko, wake up, buddy, wake up, wakey. When he woke up, he started making furtive and suspicious moves with his hand underneath the seat of the car. And cops discovered inside drug paraphernalia, resealable baggies, straws. When straws are outlawed, only outlaws will have straws, and it's already begun. And suspected meth residue and multiple glass pipes. These are not attractive people. And even if they were, even if they all were as attractive as real Joe Cruz, they're just the guys from Letterkenny or something like that. Even if they were just the most handsome blokes ever in the history of Guam, they would still be ugly by virtue of what they do. So that lady was right. There are ugly people on Guam, and it's the drug dealers, and it's the druggies and the guys that go in and pop out on a regular basis. 6:46 in the morning. Get Bob on the line. Yeah, that's it. I forgot to tell you, we need to talk with him. There's a few other things that are going on. One of them that I thought was kind of interesting last week was our friend, my very close friend, personal friend, and yours, the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Josh Tenorio, was in New York City. City's so nice, they named it twice. New York, New York. They and I guess somebody said, you need to talk to the guys over at the United Nations. And I thought, well, how pleasant is that? Isn't that what? So he did, but I didn't, and he posted it. He posted a thing on Facebook. Hey, I got to talk at the United Nations. And I'm like, about what? What did you talk to them about over at the United Nations? And as you might imagine, it had to do with Guam's quest for decolonization. We're going to decolonize Guam. And now Now it looks like everybody is going for independence. I say that this French kiss between Trump and Kim, I think that the Governor of Guam ought to be able to use that. Governor and Josh ought to be able to use that. Take that to Washington, D.C. over at the Pentagon and just say, hey, you know what? We're not fighting anymore. Obviously, they've kissed and made up at the DMZ. There's no need for the military buildup. We'll go ahead and take care of the tree from here on out, and we'll take care of we'll do our own desecration. Thank you very much. Oh, no, and don't get me started. Don't you get me started on this tree stuff, right? So we got the 13 blind mice over at the legislature and a couple of jugheads at Adelup that are losing their mind over this tree up at the firing range that the federal government and the military have been taking care of since 1998, since some of these people were in high school. And anyway, so they're losing their mind. And not a mile from Adelup. Not a mile from Adelup. In between, you know, where you've got what we used to call East Side, right? You got East Side, and then you've got the Guam Lock and Key. There was this massive shade tree up there, and it was there for at least as long as I've been alive. And you know what? They cut it down. They cut down the tree of shade, the Guam Lock and Tree Key of Shade there, which used to provide shade on what's the name of the building that Guam Lock and Key is? Do you know? No, it's your punk. That's why. Bob Klitsky knows. Bob will know. Your Honor, good morning.
Good morning, Ray.
What is the name of that building that the Guam Lock and Key is? They used to have a couple of really handy joints to go eat up there. There was Robbo's. Oh my God. Oh, you are old if you remember Robbo's.
Yes, sir.
But it provided that tree there that they cut down without regard for downtown and getting you shade. It had been providing shade going decades now to one of the last of the great Mamposta buildings that are still standing in the downtown Agenia area.
Yeah, and did you notice how the environmental wackos gathered around it, put a human chain around it, and really fought right down to the last root to save that tree?
I was not. But we've got a tree that they've made 20 Xerox copies of up at the firing range, and there's people losing their brains on that. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it is. It's so obviously pretextual, but it continues.
That's the word Lee Weber was looking for, I think, in the editorial that he wrote. Anyway, so like I said, now that Trump and Kim have kissed and made up over at the DMZ, do you suppose that we need to keep being the tip of the spear? Maybe we'll just close up the military buildup and then go to the United Nations and make the United Nations make the United States. Let us have our independence.
Well, that's obviously what our governor wants to have happen, Ray.
Yeah.
She was covered in the PNC news story for June 26th, saying we need to get our political status in order, and we vote on what we want to be, so we can have more control over our destiny, so we can go to the United Nations and negotiate with the United States, and so we can be at the table when these kinds of things are being negotiated.
Mm-hmm.
That means independence, nothing else.
Yeah, because obviously we're not going to get there with status quo. Would there not be, if we were if we were, I don't know, what was it, Commonwealth? If we'd have had that kind of relationship with the federal government, you know, a la Saipan, would we not have a little bit more say in the comings and goings, say, of compact migrants or how we want to respond to federal consent decrees?
No. And if we were a state, we wouldn't have any more. That's the ironic thing, that if the tree were growing somewhere in Massachusetts and we were doing all this in Massachusetts, it wouldn't be any different.
Huh.
Because the governor of Massachusetts doesn't have the ability to lock the heels of the Secretary of Defense and give him orders.
Uh-huh.
And where we are here is the same as we would be in the States. Many of the rights that we stand upon are those granted by federal law. It's the programmatic agreement, all the environmental protections, et cetera. Those are all functions of national law, not functions of local law.
Yeah.
So the only way that we could have any more say, and I'm putting that in quotes, is if Guam were independent. Now, Lou doesn't quite understand in diplomacy. I don't think you don't go to the United Nations. The United Nations doesn't have a big negotiation room with several tables laid out, and kind of like blackjack tables at Las Vegas, where different countries sit down and negotiate. But the only way you're going to negotiate with the United States, the way she says, is if Guam is independent. How much leverage a nation of 160,000 people with no armed forces at all would have when it came to negotiating with the United States is an interesting, bordering on humorous question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder why, with that knowledge, with that kind of recognition of what the situation really is like at the United Nations, why we continue to send people year after year after year to the United Nations like it is some kind of mecca. Like that's where all of our problems and any issues that we've got with the federal government and our federal handlers are going to get solved.
It's ironic because when it comes to a faceless bureaucracy that has almost no democratic dimension at all, that's the United Nations. And not only that, but it's powerless. It's as though those who advocate going there think that those big powder blue tanks are going to be rolling down the streets, rolling down Marine Corps Drive, forcing independence. It's just not going to happen. But the other side of it, Ray, is you get to go to really interesting places, stay at first-class hotels, hobnob with some pretty interesting conversationalists at cocktail parties. So, as we used to say, such a deal.
Yeah. Didn't we meet at the Haile Selassie conference in Djibouti?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I toss that stuff out there. I'm trying to make Kevin laugh this morning. That's going to be my whole goal for the rest of the day, is to get him to just giggle out loud. It's 6:54 in the morning. Former Senator and his honor, Judge Bob Klitsky. I'm looking at every once in a while. In my mind, I lump, and I'm sorry, I've just never drank the Kool-Aid, but I think about the United Nations the same way I think about corrupt FIFA and the corruption of the Olympic Committee. It just looks like whatever influence you need there is available to the highest bidders.
Exactly. And then this fourth committee that we pay so much attention to has a half dozen tyrannical nations on it, Iran, China, etc., to expect that tribunal to play anything but hate the United States political card is wishful thinking.
Right. Well, so at the end of this, though, I don't know what's going to happen. So we got another. This means that we're going to have another 3 years, 3.5 years of more pointless talk about independence. Well,
it's the time of openness, Ray. We have our first openly homosexual lieutenant governor, who's on his own junket to some kind of a conference. We have the first openly pro-abortion governor. And now we have the first openly pro-independence governor. So I don't know that it's necessary to do anything other than just be open about it. It's not necessary to accomplish anything so long as you're open.
I struggled with that in the early part of the year, right around inauguration time, because I wanted to be openly something. And I couldn't think of anything to be openly something about.
I think isn't that about the time you came out to be openly bearded?
Well, but I don't know that people with beards are, from a distressed community that I know of. There is no bearded victims. I've never been victimized for my beard.
Yeah, there must be someone somewhere who oppresses bearded people. We just got to find that person.
My daughter doesn't like it very much, but I don't want to say that I'm oppressed because of it. I don't know. There's in page 3 Daily Post from yesterday, Tenorio urges UN to pressure the U.S. on decolonizing Guam. And it says here, deep in the article, the only course proposed by the administering power, which would be the United States to date, is the status quo, which is not the desire of Guam. Is that a fair statement to make?
It is not a fair statement to make, and it's all part of this hoax that encompasses what I refer to as the Chamorro Independence Commission, which is euphemistically named the Decolonization Commission. That commission has nothing to do with decolonization. It's just a lobby for the pro-independence forces. And since the executive director of the Decolonization Commission is for independence, obviously that means that's what, quote, Guam wants.
Right, because we voted him in.
Well, we voted, yeah, the commission voted him in, right.
That person referred to, I think, this Juan Pat. The militarization of Guam plays a huge role in maintaining a colonial stronghold on our island, Juan Pat Borjas said. He added that the military has, quote, this is a Daily Post quote, not mine, blatant disregard for historical sites, artifacts, and ancestral remains which have been repeatedly discovered during the construction of the live firing range.
Yeah, it borders on, well, it is offensive for him to say that, given all of the care that the folks doing the construction have taken of these things, and given the fact that they laid out there in the boonies for a couple thousand years and no one paid any attention to them whatsoever. It kind of gets into my definition of sacred land. You know, we hear a lot about sacred land since the build-up, talk about the build-up began. The definition of sacred land is any land upon which the military wants to build something.
Well, I've gotten my Monday off to a good start. You going to be on the radio today?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about our independence-minded governor and related subjects.
Suddenly 2 hours doesn't seem long enough. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. Former Senator Judge Bob Klitzka, I'll hear you on the radio 4 o'clock with Tall Tales.
Okay, Ray. Good talking to you.
It's always a pleasure. 10 seconds now away from Fox News Live on the other side of that. The amazing and incredible Kevin Kerrigan with news from the Guam Daily Post. Something you want to talk about? You got the numbers. You got the WhatsApp numbers. I'm going to take a break and wipe my nose off camera, I think, and we'll talk again soon.
Heading home after making history, I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. With 20 steps, President Trump becomes the first sitting American president to cross the border into North Korea.
Stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made.
The president and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un then sat down for roughly 50 minutes in the DMZ separating North and South Korea. The talks not considered a summit, though President Trump says that is coming. Fox's Tucker Carlson will have an exclusive interview with the president to talk about all of it tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. President Trump did follow in some presidential footsteps.
President Jimmy Carter visited 3 separate times after leaving office. First, in June of 1994, to try to convince the regime of Kim Il-sung to allow inspections at nuclear sites. He returned again in August 2010 on a mission to persuade the regime to release a U.S. citizen held prisoner for 7 months. He returned a year later as part of a group of world leaders hoping to convince the regime to halt its nuclear weapons program.
Fox's Jillian Turner, and at the request of then President Barack Obama, former President Bill Clinton traveled to Pyongyang in 2009 to get 2 American journalists released. Republicans say the president advanced the peace process, and Democrats should give him credit for that. Not happening.
It is historic, but what has been done? Nothing.
Congressman Tim Ryan on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures, Senator Amy Klobuchar on State of the Union also calling it little more than a photo op.
He keeps having these summits and meetings that really don't produce anything.
Stephanie Grisham, the president's new press secretary, got into a scuffle with North Korean officials outside the room where the 2 leaders were meeting. She suffered some bruises, is said to be none the worse for wear. This is Fox News.
Let's see now. Fast, easy, affordable. That's the best way to describe my home loan at Bank Pacific. Fast because we give quick decisions. Easy because we've cut back on the paperwork. Affordable because today's home loan rates are still so low. So see us today to refinance or consolidate or to buy or build your new home and save yourself some money.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Licensed equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
A work slowdown lands some airline employees in court.
American Airlines says its mechanics have defied a June 14th court order to end a slowdown. Delays and disruptions in summer air travel has been the result, but the 2 unions representing the mechanics say American is to blame for walking away from contract talks. That, they add, has led to lower morale. Now the airline's taking the unions to court. A trial is set to begin Monday in Fort Worth, Texas. It'll be up to a federal judge to decide whether or not the mechanics slowed down intentionally to punish the company for the breakdown in contract negotiations. Karen McHugh, Fox News.
Expect to pay more if you're driving. The gasoline tax going up in several states.
Despite increased summer travel demand, gasoline prices have generally been declining in recent weeks. But for drivers in some areas, pump prices are going up when a number of states raise their gasoline taxes, and the pinch at the pump varies according to where you live. The fuel tax in Illinois is set to double, increasing to 38 cents from 19 cents a gallon. The gas tax in Ohio is set to increase by 10.5 cents as of Monday. California's gas tax will rise about 5.5 cents, up 2 cents in South Carolina, and a penny a gallon gas tax hike is set for Texas. Sal Giangrasso, Fox News.
The crowd estimated at 100,000 for the Pride Parade in New York City today.
We will survive.
Marchers passed by the Stonewall Inn, a riot there 50 years ago by gay patrons, tired of police raids, considered the start of the Pride movement. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in her home district of San Francisco saying,
"There is no place for discrimination in anything we do or say, and that is our guide. We respect people for who they are. Respect people for who they are."
I'm Jane Metzler, and this is Fox News.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Security Title is honored to join and sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has called the legislature into special session this morning to consider a bill authorizing the Attorney General to join the growing list of jurisdictions filing lawsuits against the makers of polyfluoroalkyl chemicals that may have tainted water here on Guam as well as across the nation. Passage of the bill authorizing litigation is time sensitive because there is a deadline for filing suit against the manufacturers of the chemicals known as PFAS chemicals. The companies facing litigation include multinationals like DuPont and 3M Corporation. Attorney General Levin Camacho urged quick action, saying the litigation is already in place to allow multiple plaintiffs to seek monetary damages and other remedies. Use of the chemicals has been phased out in recent years after studies have shown that they pose serious health risks, including reproductive harm and an increase in certain types of cancers. The special session slated to begin at 10 o'clock this morning. Pope Francis gave Archbishop Michael Burns the pallium during a mass at the Vatican on Saturday. The pallium is an insignia which is worn around the shoulders and neck. It's made of lamb's wool. It's meant to symbolize the Archbishop's role as a shepherd. In a statement over the weekend, Burns said the role of the shepherd is to carry the most vulnerable on his shoulders, and in a particular way, our attempts to bring a measure of justice and consolation to those who have suffered abuse at the hands of clergy in the past. The insignia is also a reminder to me that I belong to the flock, said the Archbishop, and I have an obligation to bring healing to the faithful. Burns took on the leadership of Guam's Catholic Church, which is facing bankruptcy now, brought on by more than 200 sexual abuse lawsuits and diminishing church attendance. Burns joined 30 other archbishops from across the world who received a pallium in Rome from the Pope over the weekend. We'll have more news after this.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. United Airlines will discontinue its Guam-Hong Kong service effective October 27th, according to travel industry website Routes Online. Currently, there are 4 weekly flights for the Hong Kong route, according to the report. The end of Guam-Hong Kong service comes as United announces an expansion of its San Francisco-Hong Kong service. The additional flight to Hong Kong from San Francisco begins October 26, the day before the airline ends its Hong Kong-Guam service. The elimination of Guam to Hong Kong service comes as a surprise to many, since it was just last year that United added 2 additional flights per week between Guam and Hong Kong. A stabbing victim was brought to Naval Hospital Saturday night. Acting Guam Fire Department spokeswoman Cherika Chargaloff said the 911 call came in about 8:30 Saturday night. She said the man, who appeared to be in his 20s, was brought to the Talafofo fire station, where medics then transported him to Naval Hospital. No information on what led to the stabbing or the condition of the man has been released by Guam police yet. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray now with some weather.
Thanks, Kevin. I got isolated showers in the forecast for today. Mostly sunny skies with a high near 90 degrees. Heat index values as high as 97. So it could be a much hotter day than you are anticipating today. Dress for the conditions. We say east winds 9 to 13 miles an hour today. Sunrise at 5:57. Tomorrow about the same time. Sunset tonight 6:52. And it was getting all glittery and orange last night. And I caught a little bit of that on my way down to the Tumon area. Didn't get to see the whole thing, but I did see a couple of people post some really nice pictures of it on the Facebooks and the social media. See, it's not just ugly people here on Guam. We got nice sunsets too, baby. What do we got here on the weather radar? This is a fairly new image, but I'll refresh it just to make sure I've got the absolute latest. What we want to see here is the clouds moving across the island, and in particular clouds that have a little bit of orange and red in it, because that means that there might be some rain in it. Guam sure could use it. There's some real dry spots out there. Like I said, did some hiking in the Inarahan area on Saturday, And normally, and I've got these hiking boots, these hiking shoes, and normally they'd be just encrusted with red dirt. I mean, there would be an inch thick slab of red dirt around these shoes. And over the weekend, it just didn't happen that way. It's red dirt dust that is in everything, which is why we wash our clothes separately from the fast hiking. So we got that going on. Sure could use the rain. Don't know that I've got a current image of the area here. This comes to us from Jeff's Pirates Cove. Is a different size format than the one I usually do. So you'll just have to pretend you know where Guam is somewhere in that. And I don't know. I can't see it either. Wherever we are, it's probably someplace where there's nothing around us because we don't seem to have a whole lot of activity, high altitude or low altitude clouds. But for those of you that it's not a morning unless I see a satellite image of the Western Pacific. There you go. Let's enjoy it together. Okay, that's good. 7:13, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data-to-Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data-to-Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at Ruby Tuesdays. You need to go and find out about all the great food stuffs that they've got available for you in that particular place. The best starters, lunch and dinners, priced to please on brand new RT. That's Ruby Tuesdays' favorites menu. Dips and wings, burgers and tacos, steaks and salmon, and then they put toppers on the steak and salmon. You're going to love some of the ideas they've got for you. Available for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Portions of the program also brought to you by American President Lines. They changed their slogan, so I have to find it real fast there it is, global presence with a local home. I think I'm going to write that down someplace where I can't miss it, like right there in front of the camera. The guys over at Micronesia Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. Ask them about the battery plans that they have there as well. And don't forget Cars Plus, the performance sale going on right now on automobiles that you're going to absolutely fall in love with if you haven't already. The Charger, the Challenger at 1.99% APR. Try it out. Test drive today at Cars Plus and Mighty.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I see you online, Neats. Wasn't it? It was your picture, I think, that I was looking at on Facebook Live last night. Beautiful sunset shot of the island. A friend of mine lives in the States, just recently moved there, but is beginning to get that feeling like, I don't like it here. But do I want to go home? Because, you read the Daily Post online and you listen to programs like this and Bob's and you go, it's kind of a circus there. Can you give me one good reason to come back to Guam? And I sent her a picture of, and I took it a couple of weeks ago. I was down over at Sella Bay, the lookout there, and I got a great sunset shot. I got two great sunset shots. One of them has me in them, but I didn't think that would send the right message. I didn't want to convey that message like you got to come back for me. But I did send her the other picture of and it's one of these shots. One of these sunset shots where even though I've got a great phone, Google Pixel, I got it from GTA, even though I've got this great phone and it's got a great camera in it, there's just not enough camera to capture. I mean, you look out at the sunsets and the sunrises that we've got here on Guam and you go, I wish we had some... I wish I had more camera on this. Just terrible. So Neat says, yeah, cool. Oh, it's from the Laddie of Freedom. I was looking at that the other day. When are we going to get around to painting that? Are we? I'm just asking. I don't know. In my mind, I remember Uncle Ricky always talking about it, and I think I'd seen some mock-ups of the great Laddie of Freedom. First of all, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. I thought it was going to be like, the Greek god, standing out over the bay. But it's a little smaller than I anticipated, and it's not painted. So I'm wondering if we're ever going to get around to putting a coat of paint or something like that. You know what would be cool? Muralize it, right? The way that we've got these awesome murals all over town. Just some really, really gorgeous artwork. I just, somebody commission a beautiful kind of Michelangelo thing that we can put on the Laddie of Freedom. I think that'd be awesome. Director Cho's on the line, and there's a whole bunch of other people that came on in the last few minutes. Let me make sure I get all of their names on, because that's why I do this show, is so I can know who's watching on the Facebooks. We got Nate Orn. Juanita Machi is online. Richard Leon, we were talking about independence in the last hour. He says, with independence, the ICIJ will come in, query all the banks for drug dealers, offshore banking, tax evasion, money laundering, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, wait, with independence, maybe there's no banks. Well, we'd have the one. Smugs there. I was talking about at the beginning of the administration, everybody talking about so-and-so being openly this and openly that, and I felt like I was left out because I wasn't openly anything. And Smug says, well, I'm openly ambivalent for the most part. Auntie Loli's online. Good to see you there, sweetie. A. Camacho, Eric Fast, Borja, Brandon Glazier. What a legend. Bob the Lord, you're absolutely right. Real asset to the program. Good morning, Hannah. Lynn Hinson Perez is there. I've got Bop Lizama. Chris Chip says, cancel the 4th of July celebration. Everybody is anti-USA. No. We like the fireworks. Can we keep that? John Dank's playing at the MWR1. John Dank is not like a guy. Trippy, isn't it? Real Joe's there. The role of the shepherd is not to abuse the young sheep. Well, they give him a pallium. Doesn't pallium something like a body part? Doesn't it sound like something in your mouth? You go to the dentist, and the dentist says, yeah, we got a problem. We got a molar over here, and we got something that's sticking out of your pallium. I'm going to have to go in there and with a hammer and a screwdriver and get that out. Mandy Pahea is goofing off with us. Tammy Meggs, I got Evelyn Z. Campus. Nice to see you there, ma'am. Lillian Cruz, and who else is playing around? Mark Mendiola. Hey, Ray, says Hannah. Well, hey, Hannah. Nice to see you there, Director Cho. 7:19, and Jerry Roberts in the studio. We got the extra point coming up. And did you have a productive weekend? Was it productive and fulfilling, sir?
It was very fulfilling.
Yeah?
And I think it was productive.
What'd you get done?
I didn't get anything done, but I told you.
We have different standards for definitions of productive.
Went to a wedding yesterday. It was Lawrence Kasperbauer.
Were there
and
tears?
Sabrina. Yeah, well, lots of tears. And Garcia. So Leo Palace. Steve Kasperbauer's son, right?
Okay.
And it was a wonderful wedding.
People that weren't invited now going, what the heck? I know him. How come I didn't get invited?
Well, I don't get invited to a lot of things, and I never think about those things. So never mind. Anyway. Guy comes up to me during the reception, and he starts reminding me of the days of Captain's down in Tumon.
I have a picture of us at Captain's down in Tumon.
And he's talking about Dave Alcorn and Phil Schmidt and Bernie Latino, who was his manager. Anyway, guy's name is Pascual Robles.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah. So he's a firefighter now, one of Guam's great firefighters. And he's talking about that. And I'm thinking, and nice guy, and we're just reminiscing a little bit. And I'm thinking about the names. Names mean a lot, right? Now think about this. Okay. Ray Gibson, Jerry Roberts, Kevin Kerrigan. Real Joe Cruz sounds pretty good.
Yep.
But when you get down to names, think about this. There's music in certain names, right? Pascual Robles, Ricardo Montalban, Pancho Villa, right? Now what I'm thinking of is girls like guys with music in their names or bad boys. That's it, right? And I'm thinking...
I don't think I fall into either of those categories, but
probably
thanks.
Not,
yeah.
But Pascual does. I mean, right? I mean, Pascual Robles sounds either like an outlaw or like a Julio Iglesias kind of a guy, right?
Juan Carlos Benitez.
I mean, it's just some guys just have that music in the names.
Like Benicio del Toro?
Could be. Yeah. I don't know. Some names are just better than others. So anyway, but we had a nice time and saw some folks I hadn't seen in a long time there. Remember the name Joe Delgado?
I know a lot of Joe Delgados. I went to school with a Joey Delgado. His father was one of the best photographers ever on Guam.
That's the guy.
There we go.
And he's sitting there at the table with us. And Joe must be like well into the 80s and looking pretty good.
Yep.
Looking very good.
I remember when they shut the when they finally retired and put an ad in a newspaper that says, "Come and get your negatives." I've got all kinds of pictures of all kinds of people, and I'm not keeping anything.
Yeah. So he used to work with my wife's dad, okay, Jerry Alvarez, at the PDN way back in the day.
Yep.
And that's when I first met Joe. And I remember where his store was, right? You know, it's just great. It's great when you get to see people. That's one of the real nice things about living in a small community, you know, like Guam, is you're running into folks you haven't seen for a while, and in two places normally, weddings and funerals.
Yep.
Right?
It's generally the way that works.
Yeah,
and so you get to be a tomorrow woman of a certain age, and that's what your job is now. You are the repository of all of the Shelley is now the one that goes to the weddings and the funerals.
Yeah.
Now that my mom has passed, now that grandma's gone, that's now Shelley's role. She gets to go to all of those things and catch up and every once in a while lecture me on, don't try to date that girl. She's your cousin. Oh. Third, second, first. Jesus, way too inside. No, not that one. 7:23 in the morning. We'll take a quick look at what happened on the market, just because I am curious. Tomorrow we'll see what the big deal on the market is going to be, and see if Trump and Kim's DMZ French kiss is going to get us over 27,000. Dow Jones Industrial Average at $73. 73 points in the green. Nasdaq also green by about 38 points. S&P 500 29.41. Joe, I'm going to ask you if you can dig out the numbers on Bitcoin here. Normally don't spend a lot of time talking about Bitcoin till Thursday, but...
You want me to give it to you? You want to let Real Joe do it?
Oh, you got it? You got it?
Real Joe, you want to do it?
Well, it doesn't make any difference.
About 11.419.
Didn't it get up to 13 over the weekend? They told me it was a wild swing and rally.
13.7 the other day overnight. It would have been the middle of the night Guam time, and it quickly corrected, as they say, down to about 11-something. So it's
I'm looking at the swing high, and I'm going, well, there must be something to it, but then it swings low again.
What it is to it is that when it gets to 13.7, a bunch of people jump in and dump their money, and then immediately it goes down to 11-something, and some of them bail immediately. So, I'll lose everything, so I'll bail now. They lose a little bit, but guess who wins? The manipulators, the speculators.
Yeah, are we going to see somebody go to jail with Bitcoin at some point? Do you think is it because of the swing so much?
Well, some people have.
You think there's some people that are doing some manipulation going on there, trying to get it over here so they can dump, head over in another direction.
It's probably the same guys who manipulate Wall Street. So no one's ever ID'd those guys and put them in jail. So I doubt they'll do the same thing with Bitcoin.
They sent Martha Stewart to jail.
Yeah, but not the same.
She was in there with Snoop Doggy Dogg, right? Back in the day. 7:25. Bad news on the Tappas, 69.31. Friday when Jerry and I were together talking about Tappas crude, it was 68.74. So up by about 50 cents or so in the trading on all of that stuff. But keep an eye on the Dow Jones, 26,599, and it looks like we've silence out of the Democratic front runners in the presidential. You watch any of that? Thanks. Neither did I. No. I got sound bites from the right wing bomb throwers that we have on the rest of the day here at the radio station, but I didn't actually watch any of that. I don't know that there is a message that anybody in the left wing of the Democratic Party can tell me anymore that I'm interested in hearing.
Maybe not.
Yeah. So I'm not having an abortion, and I'm not an illegal immigrant or any of that stuff. 7:25 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. Don't forget, tomorrow you get double the Jerry Roberts because he'll be on the radio and in the Guam Daily Post editorial section with the Work Zone. But for today, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, here's the extra point.
So you think you've made mistakes in business, investing, or predicting the future? Well, today, part 2 of the biggest mistakes ever made. Next on the extra point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Mile sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2millionmiles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstakes starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
On Friday, we listed a number of huge errors made by intelligent, savvy, successful people. Today, we're going to go for more. And then I'm going to tell you about one that I made after we finish. Number one, in 1995, the founder of 3Com, Robert Metcalf, said the Internet would soon collapse and cease to exist. He said he would eat his words if otherwise. And at a conference in 1997, he put his article into a food processor and he ate it. Number two, the year is 1999. The Internet was a very different place, and there were portals where you access things. America Online was the biggest. Another was Excite.com, a French company. Excite was offered a search engine with a funny name by co-creators Larry Page and Sergey Brin for $1 million. They declined. The two lowered their price to $750,000. Excite again said no, and the two ended up keeping the name and the company. And the name was Google. Would have been a whole lot different story for Excite. In 1970, the first Monday Night Football game was aired on ABC. The mistake? Only that execs on both NBC and CBS had flatly turned it down. They said they didn't think football could be transformed into a weeknight event. ABC made a spectacle of it. Are you ready for some football? They're ready. The rest is broadcast history. In number four, it's 1981, and a man named Marty Cooper, dubbed the pioneer of wireless communications, said cellular phones will absolutely not replace local wired systems, the landlines we were all using. Five, it gets better. In 1943, the president of IBM, Thomas Watson, said the following: I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers. Number 6, in 1946, Darryl Zanuck, then boss of movie maker 20th Century Fox, said television won't be able to hold on to any market it captures after the first 6 months. People will soon get tired of staring at a box every night. 7, cars weren't a big thing, right? In 1903, the president of the Michigan Savings Bank advised Henry Ford's lawyer, Horace Rackham, not to invest in the Ford Motor Company when he said, the horse is here to stay, but the automobile is only a novelty, a passing fad. 8, two-time independent presidential candidate Ross Perot, a billionaire and a shrewd investor, turned down an offer to buy Microsoft. Bill Gates was considering getting out and thinking $40 to $50 million, maybe $60 million might be a good price. Perot was offering $6 million to $15 million. The conversation ended with no deal. Had he and Gates reached agreement, today Perot could be worth in the range of $750 billion. More with Bill Gates. After the iPhone came out and dominated the cell business, there was a lull before a powerful competitor stepped forward with a second major cell platform to answer Apple. Gates hesitated. He wasn't sure. His indecision allowed Google to jump in with Android. For years, Gates has said it was his all-time biggest mistake. He figured it cost him over $400 billion. The thought behind all this is that, in the last couple of extra points, nobody likes making mistakes. We all have made them, and we all will make them again. Just know that others have made mistakes that are a whole lot bigger than we ever will. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Okay, so he goes. So you make a mistake.
Make a mistake.
Okay, so all of these guys made a mistake, but they kept making the mistake.
They kept making
is the point. So you got to, at some point, realize that you stepped in a puddle and fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
While there might still be time. I mean, the guys that did Polaroid for a long time didn't see the changes that were coming, the way that people were using their devices and then moving over to digital. Kodak, we told the story about Kodak doing exactly the same thing. And they waited too long to make that course correction.
Not only that, they invented the digital camera and then sat on it for about 20 years.
So that's the thing. It's never too late. Well, maybe that's not. There is a too late. So as soon as you realize that you've made a mistake, as soon as you realize that you've created some kind of grave error, get in there and fix it.
That's it.
And then don't worry about it. Still, move forward and do what you have to do. And can I tell my mistake that I made?
Sure. I've known you all of my adult life. I'm not aware of you ever making a mistake.
It's 2010, very early in 2010. I'm doing an interview. I released a training product online in 2010, and I'm interviewing a guy for it. And he's not a well-known guy, but he's very wired in to people and things. He made a lot of money at being an early adopter. So he says, ever heard of a thing called Bitcoin? I said, no. He says, well, you're going to hear about it. So have you got $500 that you can afford to lose or just don't need? I said, I guess.
Really?
I don't know. So he says, okay, go find Bitcoin and buy $500 of it, and then don't even think about it. Put it in. They're going to give you an address, a number, a series of numbers and letters. Put it in a safe deposit box. Forget you even have it. Okay. I go online. I had the $500, and I said, okay, I'm going to go find Bitcoin and buy it because I like this guy. He was smart, and I tried to find Bitcoin. In those days, you could not buy Bitcoin. You had to mine Bitcoin. And that involved buying big computers and software and doing...
It sounds like ham radio.
It's transactions. It's a bookkeeping thing. That's what mining is. So big people were investing massive amounts of money, and I said, that's not for me. I didn't even know you could call a miner and buy the mined Bitcoin. That's what he was talking about. He didn't say that. Had he said it, my life would be different. So here's the deal. I forget about Bitcoin. About 3 months later, Bitcoin goes available to the public through exchanges for the first time. The price, the day it goes live, is 0.8 of a cent.
Hey.
Okay. $500 at 0.8 of a cent is 62,500 Bitcoins. Okay? And I would have spent it. I would have done exactly what this guy said because it just made sense. Okay? Just put the 500, buy the Bitcoin, forget about it. 62,500 Bitcoins. On the day that Bitcoin hit 20,000, which is about 14, 15 months ago. You know what that's worth? $1.3 billion. And capital gains is 20%. That means by the time you get done, you got a little over $1 billion sitting there at the bank, and it's all yours. That was my mistake.
$500.
$500.
734. I hate stories like that. That's Jerry Robertson, the Extra Point. Once again, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post with a look at today's headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. The Boy Scouts of America has offered to settle 44 sexual abuse cases involving children on Guam decades ago. The offer was made Friday during a joint status hearing before Chief District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood and Superior Court of Guam Judge Michael Bordallo. Attorney Michael Berman said the proposed settlement amounts are sensitive and confidential and would not be publicly released. He said he still has to meet with another 30 or so clients about the settlement offers, but he told the court that roughly 15 clients that he has already met with have so far all agreed to the settlement that was offered. The next status hearing in the case is set for August 16th. The Guam International Airport Authority is calling on Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola to cancel her threat to hold the airport in contempt over its refusal to release the transcript of a closed-door board meeting. On May 14th, Sicola issued a scathing decision threatening the airport with contempt if it continued to refuse to release the minutes of an April 26, 2018 executive session held by the airport board. The court will not allow GIAA to act in bad faith and yet achieve its goal of keeping the transcript sealed, wrote Sicola in her May decision. However, on June 12th, the Guam Supreme Court ruled that the Sunshine Act permits the airport authority to withhold the executive session transcripts from disclosure until the litigation between the airport and DFS Guam has concluded. The Supreme Court's decision has rendered the contempt order moot, according to airport attorney Genevieve Rapadas, who wrote in a motion filed with Sicola last week that GIAA has not acted in bad faith and has, in fact, worked diligently to comply with the requirements of the open government law. In court last week, Sicola postponed the contempt hearing until Wednesday of this week to allow her more time to review the Supreme Court opinion, which appears to have overturned her findings in the case. Department of Administration is sending out 1,300 tax refund checks today, totaling about $3.8 million. The latest batch of tax refunds covers error-free returns filed as of February 6. Taxpayers can expect their tax refunds to be garnished if they owe money to Guam Memorial Hospital or fines payable to the judiciary of Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Right on, 7:37. That's iConnect time. Call iConnect at 888-8888 and ask them about how they're going to help you save some money on mobile and internet plans.
Your home is one of the most important investments you'll make in your life. At Nanbo Insurance, you can rest easy knowing that you're covered with reliable and affordable homeowners insurance. Nanbo makes it easy to protect what matters the most so you can enjoy the moments that matter the most. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
At 7:38, my buddy Tom's begun a diet and has discovered the great dietary aid that is the Wendy's Berry Burst Chicken Salad. Fresh berries, that's healthy for you. Feta cheese, it's healthy. Grilled chicken, that's healthy. But maybe that you're going, but I'm already eating a salad. Do I have to have a grilled chicken? And the answer is no, because it's Wendy's. If you say, I'd like this otherwise healthy salad to be made with a fried piece of spicy chicken, they'll be more than happy to do it for you at Wendy's.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Is it traffic? Come on, it's Monday. Nobody's going to work today, right? Everybody going to stay in and make a 3-day weekend with a day off in the middle, and that was going to be perfect, right? No, not quite. Looks like there are a bunch of people that are trying to get around here. Not sure why, but over in front of the airport, we got traffic that is headed. You know what it is? Probably something wrong with that light. Traffic going up the hill towards the 76 is slowing down. Traffic going down towards Home Depot, move a little bit slower than normal. Plus, you got the traffic lined up over at the other intersection at the other end of the Guam International Airport area. You might see some traffic building up in front of the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Good news is they got the $3.8 million in about 1,300 checks that they're putting in the mailbox today. They're just going to drive down the road. They're going to get to the Johnny Gerber mailbox place, and that's going to be that way. That money should be in your pocket before too much longer. I believe that takes it to February the 6th, if I read the Guam Daily Post article correctly. If you're on Marine Corps Drive northbound, should be doing all right. You'll see a line of traffic over at Guam Regional Medical City. It's busy over in that part of the island. Looking to see if it's busy over in Agana Heights by Navy Hospital. Only a little bit, and then only a little bit busy, relatively speaking, at the entrance to Big Navy in Sumai. 20 away from 8. That's right now traffic on the point.
Discover a new Galaxy. GTA introduces the new Samsung Galaxy S10 in 3 different sizes. The Galaxy S10 comes with cool new features like Power Share that allows you the ability to share your battery power with other devices. Or you can capture a wider world with its new camera featuring an ultra-wide lens for when you need to take pictures of the whole family. And with GTA handset payment option, you can take home a Galaxy S10 for $0 down. GTA, we start with you.
Michael Knight online this morning in the Facebook Live. What's the matter, buddy? Can't sleep? Look, I had the same problem. It took me a day or two to shake it once I got to Manila. I'm still waking up on Guam time, which is 2 o'clock in the morning in Manila. Actually, come to think of it, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning today and was having a hard time lighting into some sleep. But it's nice to have you there. Real Joe Cruz doing a good job subbing for you. I didn't say great job because, Only you can do a great job, Michael Knight. And we'll be thinking about you when you get back to Guam. Lisa St. Augustine online. John Wigston, Terry DeBold, Sherry Lynn DeFontorum, Roy Gamboa, nice to see you there, Commissioner. Mark Mendiola's online, and a bunch of other folks that have joined up for the program this morning on the Facebook Live. I'm still getting slowdowns on my Facebook Live feed. I am sending out a bazillion frames a second, but to them and YouTube. And the websites, the point.gu and the Guam Daily Post website, but I'm still getting a little bit of slowdown and a spinning wheel, so I'm not sure where exactly the problem is, except I know it's not with me, because my YouTube live feed is sweet all day. So where do we get to go now? There's a table of contents on the program, and I suppose one of them is going to be the conversation about, well, it's a short week that we've got, isn't it? So we start today, and then it will be Wednesday, and recommendations are by Wednesday you should have a semblance, an idea of where it is that you're going to be going. There's a couple of big deals that are going to be happening over for the holiday. The 75th Guam Liberation Committee is putting together the Star-Spangled American Celebration. Take place at the Liberation Carnival Grounds in Agana. There will be an American muscle and domestic car, truck, and motorcycle show, music and entertainment, local bands, island jams, classic rock. Phoenix Stars are going to be playing at 7, the Mount Carmel Band at 8, and then at 9, a fireworks program put together by Show Pros Pyro called Celebrating the American Dream. Now, I know that there is another big deal that's going to be taking place over at Polaris Point as usual. I've got an email. If you give me half a second, I'll pull it up and see if I can read some of this to you about what it is that they're going to be doing. Public invited to liberation. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Valerie Maigi sent this. We've got a 5K held in celebration of the 75th Liberation Anniversary. No registration fee, military or ID or visitor pass is not required to participate in that event. The color run showtime, 6 a.m. The race will begin at 7 a.m. That's going to be Sunday, July 14th at Naval Base Guam. Now, there is another race that's going to be taking place on the 4th of July. It's the Guam Running Club's Spirit of 76 6.7 miler. We've talked about that one before. But just show up at the McDonald's or around the McDonald's, across McDonald's in Agana. And that's where everything is going to get started. I can't remember whether this is free for GRC members or whether it's something that everybody's going to have to pay a little bit for. It's cheaper if you're a GRC guy as well. You want to sign up for the color run on the 14th. You can do that at the Charles King Fitness Center if you're holding a military ID, et cetera, et cetera. I'll get you more information on that. Valerie sent me the other invitation for the public. The Freedom Rocks event is going to be held excuse me, Thursday at Polaris Point. A Las Vegas-based reggae band called The Majority. And John Dank is going to be performing there as well. Military ID or visitor pass is not required, but if you are over 18, have a valid U.S. Guam driver's license or a passport to get you inside. So that's going to be on the 4th. Doesn't say anything here about whether or not I can bring my own coolers or firearms or anything like that. I'll see if I can get some information before too much longer. 7:45 in the morning, and that's the 4th of July. But you're probably going, but Raymond, that's not enough. I want more. Okay. There's going to be more party in the next week or so. GVB is going to be doing their annual Guam Barbecue Block Party. It will take place Saturday from 5:30 to 10 in the heart of the Pleasure Island in Tumon. They've already started putting out the signs. They've already started putting the signage up there that says, "Don't even think about parking here Saturday." Because it's going to be the traffic. It's going to be suck traffic in and out around the area. My recommendation: you don't have to do it my way, but you can. Depends on how much you like to walk, what you think the weather's going to be like. You park at Kmart and walk down the hill, right? And make your way over to where the festivities are, Pleasure Island. It's a long walk. This is not a short endeavor. It might be 3/4 of a mile. It might be as far away as 3/4 of a mile on Guam. But you'll get there, and then you don't have to worry about parking or anything like that. And then when you're done, you've got that whole 3/4 mile walk, and then the uphill walk. Dude, you're sober. By the time you get back to your car, my guy, You're going to be in good shape. Asu Smokehouse, Dusitani, Guam Community College, Mescla, Outrigger, Team Duckness, Guam Barbecue Company, and the Sea Grill Restaurant are all going to be represented there at this particular deal. Micronesian Chefs Association hosting the annual barbecue competition, from which everyone will get bragging rights from the 2019 Barbecue Block Party. And you might be able to do a search online if you want to get more information on that. But it sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It was, for me, it was last year. I remember walking down from up here. I walked right down Happy Landing Road, because in my mind I thought that would put me right there at Pleasure Island. And I'll be darned if it wasn't still another 10 or 15-minute walk to get from the bottom of Happy Landing Road to where Pleasure Island is. But it will be worthwhile. Bring some folding money with you, because you'll be able to do some of that. Nick online saying, Ray, next time you have one of those clowns from either CCU or GPA, ask them why they are ripping off people, charging them an extra day on their bill. The last 4 months, I've been charged 1 day extra on every bill. My last bill states billing period from 5/9 to 6/10/19 using a Julian date calendar. That's 32 days. But my bill says 33. Why? What do you mean, why? So they can make some extra money here. What? What are you talking about? So it's in the summer too. So my guess is those extra days. You've been cranking. I normally do, I don't know, I want to call it 19, 20 kilowatt hours a day, right? I'm not that big of a consumer of electricity, I don't think. You know, for me, it's just go in, I get home, turn the air conditioner on. I might have the hot water heater on for maybe 20 minutes a day. And just enough to get it hot water in the morning and keep it hot for the rest of the day for washing and clothes and things like that. But it's not like I run the thing 24 hours a day. So I get the bill last week. And the bill is, normally my bill is just under $200. But last month, I know, right? There's wow, right? But my bill this time was $350. Another wow moment. And my daily consumption has gone up to 44 kilowatt hours a day. And I have not changed that much. Now, granted, the house is hotter. I live in a Guam hot box that was built in the 1970s when electricity was cheap. And every room had a hole for an air conditioner, because electricity in 1972 was cheap. Relative standards. Nobody painted their roofs on Guam in 1970. They make it black, and nobody cares. Because electricity is nothing. It didn't cost anything for electricity or gasoline back then. And the bottom fell out from under that. And as a result, I now have, most of the time in the house, one working air conditioner. That's it. And clearly this thing has been challenged, even though it is brand new. I mean, this thing was in a box 3 months ago. But right now it's hanging on the wall and doing, I think, a superior job of keeping the house cool. But in order to get down to 74 where I like it, only 74, guys. It's not like I'm trying to get this thing down into the 60s. It's not like I'm trying to, make it so that I'm only comfortable in a house covered and shrouded in some kind of a blanket. No. So that's the answer to the question there, Nick. It has everything to do with that. And I'm not the only one. Everybody needs to read their power bills. Bet you're all being ripped off. Mail fraud, because they use the Postal Service to mail the bill. Nick, give up on it, buddy. I love you, but it ain't going to work. Did you see in the newspaper, there's the guy that stole, the nice watches out of the mail and iPhones and stuff? He worked at the post office. The guy worked at the post office, and he starts pilfering from inside the post office stuff, and he was caught. He was arrested, and now the case over at district court, where he gets a plea deal. And I'm going, a plea deal? You got to be kidding. It looked like one of those things where we got the dude red-handed. They found what was stolen. I think, his folks' house or something like that, or at his place. And so the guy's going to get a plea deal? So, no, the criminal justice system around here, even apparently over at district court, is all about, let's get the case out of here as quick as possible. Will you plead guilty if I give you a suspended sentence? Okay, suspended, go. Go, try not to sin anymore. And then I thought this was funny as well. Where's the story here? Is it today's Guam Daily? It is today's Guam Daily. This is brilliant. my bro Manny Chong, GPD Major Manny Chong, spoke to a crowd of island leaders. I guess they're still having these town hall meetings, right? Still having these because that's really making a difference. I don't know about you. After they had that first town hall, I feel safe. I'm leaving the doors open in the house. I'm not even bothering to roll up the windows in the car, just, because I feel safe. I feel that much safer because we're having town hall meetings. Anyway, so Major Manny Chong spoke to a group of island leaders, and there might be something to this. Why we've got so many reoffenders. Nick Delgado writes, it is because Manny believes that life is better inside of prison than it is on the outside. They have 3 meals, Manny says. They get showers. They get to use an actual toilet. Only on Guam, guys. They get to use an actual toilet. They don't have to do anything but eat. So that's why certain offenders reoffend. Is there something to that, guys? Check me on the Facebook. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Is that why we've got guys that are recidivists? We put them in, and they might not have the longest sentence in the world, but you think that there are guys that are from some places that are just so devoid of modern conveniences and the 20th century lifestyle, 21st century lifestyle that the majority of us have learned to love and frankly could not live without? Is it possible that it is better for them on the inside of the Department of Corrections than it is outside? And if it is, I don't mean to sound like the guy from the movie, but if it is, then you know what? Let's make things ugly on the inside. Let's make it even uglier on the inside. I mean, if you can live with the threat of an assault living, over your head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or as like I've seen in every prison movie and prison television show, getting bent over by the big guy in the showers, right? I mean, if you can live with that in exchange for being able to use an actual toilet, the occasionally air-conditioned office, or something in there. And 3 squares and a cot every day. If that's the good life, then I'm maybe with Senator Jim Moylan. And we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago where his suggestion is little tent city. We'll put up a couple of big chain link fences, 20, 30 feet long, something like that. Get a bunch of guys in some makeshift towers, and we'll put together a tent city. And I know that there were people that were bristling at it going, tent city, you can't do that to people. And Jim's like, well, we ask our servicemen when they're deployed to live in tents. So if it's good enough for somebody in the military, it ought to be good enough for the people that want to have no problems breaking and entering into cars and doing home invasions and selling dope out on the streets. Lady D says chain gangs. Let's do chain gangs. Let's make it that much more difficult. And that's the way, we don't have chain gangs now. We've got these work release parties where we got guys that are, gentler than Joe Cruz that are going out there and doing the job work on the side of the road, maybe a little bit of tending and trash picking up. But we don't have a chain gang. And if we did, we could get some of the violent offenders out. I mean, because they'd actually be chained to one another, right? We'd be able to get some of these violent offenders out and say, well, we're putting you to work on some of these government programs. And they'll go, well, how much do we get paid for that? And you go, nothing. You don't get paid anything for that. This is part of your sentence here, is you're going to be doing some hard labor to recompense the community for what it is that we got to pay to have you in jail every day. So if it costs us $125 to keep somebody behind bars, keep them fed, give them someplace where they can sleep at night, then would it be too much to ask if I get $125 in value out of that for the next day? Could I get now what would it be? Is $125 worth of value for me to keep somebody in jail? What kind of job could I ask of these guys to get my $125 back from them? I think we've solved our labor issue. Is it possible? Build a hotel. Let's go down to Tuma, build a hotel with chain labor. They could pick up, yeah, I said, no, I get it, Pam. They could pick up trash, but is that worth $125 a day? That's the question here. How do we get paid back for that? $125 a day. Now, it seems to, I've never really looked at that figure. I've never actually seen a breakdown of that figure, how the guys over at the Department of Corrections come up with that magical number of 100 and whatever it is a day to incarcerate somebody at the Department of Corrections. So I don't know what exactly goes into that. Is that just a number that we throw back to the federal government when we want to get paid back for holding their guys? I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what goes into it. But if that's what it is, then maybe we need to figure out how we're going to get that back from some of these guys. And if it's a harder kind of labor that still needs to get done, then I say we do that. I say we do that. I was telling you earlier about that lousy road that we've got that goes into Cabras, the Harbor of Safe Refuge. Is it possible that we could get a chain gang of guys down there? I mean, we're not talking about needing the most experience in the world, but get them down there to help chip it out, and then we'll bring in a steamroller, and then we'll bring in a guy from Hawaiian Rock and put down some blacktop. But let them go in there and do the hot, sweaty work. On the other hand, I could see it, and then we'd save some of the guys that do have a little bit of experience and put them on other high-value projects that we've got around here. I'm just saying that there is, my brother Manny's brother James, my neighbor for a lot of years. So I got nothing but love for this family. So if he says that there's a desire for guys on the outside to get back inside so they don't have to worry about eating every day, maybe there's something to that. And the answer is, let's make it less like the Hilton and more like the prison. There was another line that somebody was talking about, attributed, I think, in this case to former Senator Lamarena. There it is. He said, I can see that possibly happening since we don't know their living conditions at home. It could be true. We never ask inmates or detainees why they reoffend. Really? We never do? That would be the first thing I ask them. Why did you do that? Did you want to come back here? Why did you? We just let you out. Why did you break into that guy's car? Why did you home invasion that old lady? I would love to hear the answer. It'd be funny as hell if the answer turned out to be, because I like it better here than I do on the outside. But the fact that nobody's ever asked them, I think we might have stumbled on the solution to our problem of recidivism in this crime wave we've got. Let's start asking these people why they're breaking the law and see what they've got to say. Might get something that takes us into something that feels like a solution. Oh, I don't know. It's Monday. I'm just the expert on everything, spouting off on the radio like I always do. 12 seconds away from Fox News Live. Kevin Kerrigan's coming up in the next hour. Also in the next hour, Blake Watson and I will pretend to talk about sports. All ahead right here.
20 historic steps. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. President Trump becoming the first sitting president to set foot in North Korea, saying he had a wonderful meeting with that country's leader afterwards.
President Trump's meeting with Chairman Kim came in part after a social media invite, but said the pleasure was his.
Stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made.
Kim, through a translator, echoed hopefulness before the two leaders met for nearly an hour, calling the visit
an expression of his willingness to eliminate all the unfortunate past and open a new future.
President Trump said denuclearization talks will restart, adding he's not looking for speed, just to get it right. A third formal summit between the two leaders is not scheduled.
Fox's Gernal Scott, the president now heading home after his 4-day Asian trip. Fox's Tucker Carlson will have an exclusive interview with the president to talk about all of it tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. Democrats acknowledge that President Trump did make history Sunday, but said it's little more than a photo op, also noting he has a penchant for praising dictators while trashing our allies. On Fox this afternoon, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN Bill Richardson says on the one hand, President Trump is legitimizing Kim Jong-un.
They're putting him on the world stage. He used to be a pariah. Now an American president has gone to him. On the other hand, it's good that two leaders like both of them, in a state of hostility, have a personal relationship.
President Trump also indicating he's open to inviting Kim to the White House.
It's not a good idea right now. Let him deliver on denuclearization. Let him do something.
Happy Pride, y'all. We will survive. That's the official greeting at marches around the country today, marking 50 years since the start of the gay pride movement. This is Fox News.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. GTA, we start with you.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus and Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250 or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689 or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus and Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Another gaffe by former Vice President Joe Biden. The Hill reporting this one, too, took place at a fundraiser last night at the home of a PR exec and gay rights activist in Seattle. About 50 people in attendance wearing a Rainbow Pride sticker. The current Democratic frontrunner told the crowd that if someone at a business meeting in Seattle 5 years ago made fun of a gay waiter, people there would just let it go. His audience did not let that go. The statement fell flat, with many in the audience shouting, "Not in Seattle." Cory Booker criticized Biden's language at another fundraiser. The former vice president said he worked across the aisle with two former segregationist senators who did not call him boy, they called him son. Booker remembered how hurt his IBM exec father was when he was called boy and demanded an apology, which he did not get. Booker saying on NBC's Meet the Press,
whoever our nominee is going to be, whoever the next president is going to be, really needs to be someone who can all talk openly and honestly about race with vulnerability, because none of us are perfect, but really call this country to common ground, to reconciliation. I'm not sure if Vice President Biden is up to that task, given the way this last 3 weeks have played out.
At Thursday night's debate, Kamala Harris confronted Biden about his record on busing back in the 70s. Fellow candidates coming to her defense today on Twitter after Donald Trump Jr. retweeted, then deleted a post by a right-wing activist that went viral because of bots. It falsely claimed the California senator is not black. Her father was born in Jamaica. Her mother's from India. On Twitter this afternoon, Meghan McCain called the post disgusting and unquestionably racist. A spokesman for the president's son said his intent was misconstrued. Jane Metzler, Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
We have some really great home loan programs, but did you know we have great business loans too? Every day we're working with companies to purchase equipment, to buy or build properties, or make tenant improvements. We offer letters of credit, working capital, and term loans, and we make all of our credit decisions here. Commercial loans, commercial banking from Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Lulian Guerrero calling the legislature into special session this morning to consider a bill authorizing the Attorney General to join the growing list of jurisdictions filing lawsuits against the makers of polyfluoroalkyl chemicals that may have contaminated water here on Guam and across the nation. Passage of the bill authorizing litigation is time sensitive because there is a deadline for filing suit against the manufacturers of the chemicals known as PFAS chemicals. The companies facing litigation include multinationals like DuPont and 3M. Attorney General Levin Camacho urged quick passage, saying the litigation is already in place to allow multiple plaintiffs to seek monetary damages and other remedies. Use of the chemicals has been phased out in recent years after studies showed they pose serious health risks, including reproductive harm and an increased risk of certain types of cancers. Special session is scheduled to get underway at 10 o'clock this morning. United Airlines will discontinue its Guam-Hong Kong service on October 27th, according to an announcement from the airline this morning. Currently, there are 4 weekly flights from Guam to Hong Kong. The end of Guam-Hong Kong service comes as United announces an expansion of its San Francisco to Hong Kong route. The additional flight to Hong Kong from San Francisco begins October 26th, the day before the airline ends its Guam-Hong Kong service. The elimination of Guam to Hong Kong service comes as a surprise to many, since it was just last year that United added 2 additional flights a week between Guam and Hong Kong. Meanwhile, this morning, United also announcing twice daily service between Guam and Nagoya. The airline currently operates 4 weekly evening flights between Guam and Nagoya. Sam Shinohara, Director for Airport Operations for Asia Pacific for United, said the additional twice-weekly service on a 737 is being added to meet increasing demand. We'll have more news after this.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The Boy Scouts of America has offered to settle 44 sex abuse cases involving children on Guam decades ago. The offer was made Friday during a joint status hearing before Chief District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood and Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo. Attorney Michael Berman said that the proposed settlement amounts are sensitive and confidential, and they were not released. He said he still has to meet with another 30 or so clients about the settlement offers, but he told the court that roughly 15 clients that he has already met with have all agreed to the settlement that was offered. The next status hearing in the case has been set for August 16th. Pope Francis gave Archbishop Michael Burns the pallium during a mass at the Vatican on Saturday. The pallium is an insignia which is worn around the shoulders and neck. It's made of lamb's wool. It's meant to symbolize the Archbishop's role as a shepherd. In a statement, Burns said the role of the shepherd is to carry the most vulnerable on his shoulders. And in a particular way, he said, it's a part of our attempts to bring a measure of justice and consolation to those who have suffered abuse at the hands of the clergy. The insignia is also a reminder to me that I belong to the flock, said the Archbishop, and I have an obligation to bring healing. Burns took on the leadership of Guam's Catholic Church, which is now facing bankruptcy brought on by more than 200 sexual abuse lawsuits and diminishing church attendance. Burns joined 30 other archbishops from around the world who received a pallium from the Pope on Saturday at the Vatican. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Real Joe with a look at weather.
Isolated showers, according to Real Joe, who copied and pasted this off the National Weather Service website earlier today. Mostly sunny with highs near 90 degrees. Going to be a heat index. Could bring things up as high as 97 feels like degrees. East winds 9 to 13 miles an hour. Sunrise this morning was about 5:57. Sunset tonight will be at 6:52 for those of you that want to try out some new lenses or new cameras or something like that. I would take it. I would give it a practice shot on a sunset on Guam. 8:12 in the morning, and I have not yet had a chance because I was goofing off. I was looking at some. I'll tell you in a second. Radar. Hold on. Let me just refresh this here. I had not yet had a chance to refresh the screen. And it's something that's vitally important for those of you that might be able to understand what it is that you're looking at. Now, it does look, and if Michael Knight was here, he would say that it looks like we've got a line coming in from the eastern side, and it is going to wash over the eastern side of the island soon. So it's possible that areas around Mangilao, Talafofo, Zotnya, looks like you guys could get some rain here in the next little bit once it crosses the mountains in the central part of the island. Maybe going to get some rain in the Tamuning-Aganya area as a result of this. It is possible, but on the other hand, is getting to that point of the day where some of those clouds are just going to burn off, because it's hot and the sun is out and it's Guam and we're 13 degrees above the equator. That could be the big deal. The Western Pacific satellite image from over at Jeff's Pirates Cove. Guam's in there somewhere. I couldn't find it, but I'm lazy. I didn't really look. Joe was looking. He doesn't know what Guam looks like from the sky. So you're kind of on your own on that one. But for the most part, it doesn't look like there's any significant weather in our area right now, north or south. So I'm not going to belabor it. Michael Knight can get all accurate, with the weather when he gets here day after tomorrow. But in the meantime, you're stuck with me and Joe, and that's all the time I got to pretend to talk about weather.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Oh, I got a lot of them to do here, right? The portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. And, before I get to their new logo phrase, I do want to take a second to wish Charlie Hermosa a happy birthday today. Charlie is the boss of the shop over at APL, and he's the guy that walks around saying, global presence, local home. Global presence, local home. That's Charlie's job over at American President Lines. Cars Plus with their performance days going on. We got Challengers and we got Chargers on the lot. A bunch of other stuff, too. If you're like an SUV type, they got plenty of Dodge SUVs. Maybe you're a soccer mom, or maybe, I don't know, you're one of those people that want to have your own, Korean cab company or Korean tour company, right? You can get started with these mom vans that they've got over at Cars Plus as well. Portions of the program also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. And swing by Ruby Tuesdays. The best Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today's Monday. 4 to 6, all day Tuesday. Select draft beers, wine, sangrias, or an RT Tipsy Palmer or Ruby Relaxer, $5 or less. $5 appetizers, too, at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Ron and Kim over at Security Title bringing you portions of the program. Same thing with my buddy Greg and the team over at Take Care. Loving you up all the time. 8:15 in the morning. It's too loud. The music's too loud. Can't you see I had a weekend? This is the big long weekend. I got the sunset on Friday night. I got fast running on fast hiking on Saturday, and yesterday I'm tired. I'm too tired to talk over music here today in the program. I'm sorry. Is that a little too inside baseball? Might have been. It is 8:15 in the morning. My name is Ray, and this is 93.3 The Point. Somebody had asked on Facebook. I got a picture last night at Red Lobster with Leigh Graham from USO. Who gave me nothing but a hard time. She says, we see each other all the time, and you just blow me off. You never say hello. what the hell are you talking about now? But anyway, so we got a nice selfie in there, and I put that up there. And somebody on Facebook was asking, and I get this from time to time, hey, are you still on the radio? Yeah, every morning, 93.3. Oh, you're on FM. Okay, I got it. Just some people just haven't glommed on to FM just yet. But we're also on Facebook Live. We're also on YouTube Live. Guam Daily Post's website, and you can catch this video feed. There's a video feed of the program at thepoint.gu on the World Wide Web, and that's really, really cool. One of the other reasons, the express reasons why there is a video version of this program is so that I can take things that people send me in WhatsApp and stick it up on the screen so everybody can see it. Now I'm going to put up on the screen here. This is an image of a diver underwater over by Gab Gab 3 in the port. And the guy in the picture, the diver, the little snorkely guy, that's me. I'm the guy. I'm the one that turned the microphone on for the Blake's microphone. Yeah, I finally had a chance, and I got to hang out with Sam and Mel and everybody and Fred. We went down there, and apparently, after you've learned how to scuba dive, you don't forget.
No,
I did all right.
As long as you can swim, I think. I mean, you may have to refresh on timing, right? Like coming up if you're too deep and stuff like that.
They have computers now.
Oh, really?
They got it. Yeah.
So it tells you?
Yeah, I was looking at some of the other guys and going, okay, well, who's got the dive tables? And they look at me. First of all, a couple of them look at me and go, what are dive tables? What's that? And if you took diving like I did in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, there was a hard piece of plastic that was in everybody's dive bag and everybody's dive locker, and it was the tables.
There was one in 2009. I don't know these people. Did these people just learn how to scuba dive like yesterday?
But now it's all in the computer. They got a computer that you get into any kind of depth, and it tells you where you were and how deep you were, and then it does. This is the fun part. It does the calculations for you. I had no idea. It will do the calculations for you and tell you you're going to make a safety stop over here, and it'll be X number of feet or whatever, and then it'll tell you how long and when it's safe to go up.
Man, see that's what I was always afraid
and then
of.
your air runs out.
Right.
That's what was always I was always leery of going back into it. Is man, am I going to get the bins? Because I forget how long to sit down there and wait down there. Because it's based on weight too.
It's on the computer.
Yeah,
so
but now it's on the computer. So
I guess as long as the battery doesn't run out on the computer, maybe there's
you get Wi-Fi down there.
Different batteries on the phones than they on the dive computers than they have with phones. But I thought it was very, very cool, just being able to once again get down to about where the crevice was, 90 feet or something like that, and goof off and look for octopus and turtles with straws in their mouth.
Did you see any turtles?
Saw a blacktip shark.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Any barracudas?
No, didn't see any barracudas. But it was one of those things where everybody else was looking in the wrong direction, and there's this blacktip chasing a little fish down in that direction, and I'm turning around and I'm hollering into the regulator. Shark here.
You're that
nobody
guy.
can hear you. Yeah, nobody can hear what's going on. It's like me and one other guy saw this blacktip shark. But like I said, it was nice to get down there, and I know that there's a lot of people that are very concerned about the environment. About man's impact on it, global warming and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, I was looking at some real pristine plate coral and saw some lovely anemones and clownfish and damselfish, and there's just all kinds of stuff down there. And just as many as I'd ever seen before from the 1980s. So
Did you get narcosis?
Don't get narked until I go down to about 120, and maybe even a little deeper because I drink a lot. I said that on the air, didn't I? Anyway, 8:20. You know what? It's time for sports with Blake. There's almost too much sports today.
There's a lot.
Just the games, SPGs that's going on there. Oh my God, the triathlon yesterday. Like everybody we know was in tights or
Except
something
for Manami.
Yesterday. Yeah, but is she in town? I think she's out of town, right? I think it's probably so depressed about not being able to participate in the triathlon yesterday. I think she left Island.
You know what? If she did, I thought I saw her. You know what's really cool is GSPN, Pat Lujan over there on GSPN.
The new Shippo.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's also what he's been up to. He just sat down, which I thought was really cool, with Munami. It's Munami.
Yeah, and a couple others.
Miko Carey and Miyu Yamamoto, and just to discuss kind of their Japanese heritage and being a Japanese athlete on Guam. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I don't know if she's here. I saw that over the weekend. And that they went to
I
eat
saw the
and
same
hang out.
thing on Facebook Live, but I don't know on Facebook, but I don't know when they conducted that interview. Agree, it was a big one.
Cool.
Our friend Renee Logie.
Yes.
Right? Outrigger. She works over at the Outrigger.
She's a runner.
She had some vacation time coming. She watched the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Oh, over in London?
In England, yeah.
That was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Right, yesterday.
So she's updating her stories and everything on Facebook, and I don't know, she must have used her white privilege or whatever. She was able to get down, like, right next to the dugout.
Well, that's because they don't care about baseball in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like if you went to a place that didn't, you know what I mean? It's like, like if you go to if you go to a place where they don't care about a sport, or maybe like there's, for instance, growing up in Texas, there's these regional Texas country music acts.
Yeah.
They sell out. 25,000 people show up in Texas. Louisiana, Oklahoma.
So what are you saying? Like at the end of the show, you can just kind of walk over and talk to the guy?
No, but I'm saying in Texas, they're a big deal. But then you go up to like Minnesota, say you see like these guys in Minnesota.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They'll play to like 20 people.
Yep.
Because, it's a lesser deal.
But it did look like there was a full crowd over at whatever
I didn't say. I was
stadium
going to
they
ask, where did they play?
I don't know.
Where could you, do they have a baseball field? Because baseball's not really a European sport, right?
I can see Renee just kind of explaining it to people. Dude, she explains stuff to me all the time. Anyway, so I just thought that was
that is cool.
She's in Paris now, apparently. I don't know, but
for the Women's World
Paris,
Cup?
No, well, I don't know if are they still playing now that France is out?
Yeah, because they're hosting. So it's going down in Paris and France. So that's even if France is out, that's where all the games are going down. And I believe England and USA will kick off tomorrow morning.
I'm going to ask
against
her.
Each other.
She's on the WhatsApp right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, because USA beat France. If you haven't been keeping up with the Women's World Cup, USA beat France to advance over the weekend. I believe it was 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1, right? Yeah, I didn't know if it was 2-0 or 2-1. I know the USA got 2 goals, and so doing so, they advanced deeper into the tournament, still steamrolling towards the championship match, and they will kick off what I have here, actually Wednesday, 5 a.m. here local time. As the USA will face off against the English ladies in Women's World Cup soccer action.
And now, what is the name of the captain of that team, or the
Rapinoe?
Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe.
Who said if she's invited to the White House, they're not going?
Yeah.
They didn't win yet, but
no.
she's already saying.
And she said that 2 games ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a big fan of Megan Rapinoe. You know what else? She a couple years ago made news.
Prejudice?
Well, she made. I just believe she's
like women's soccer players.
I believe she's an attention hog, is what I believe. And no, but one thing that really kind of irked me, and then look, everybody's got their beliefs, their convictions. My deal is not to rehash the whole kneeling for the national anthem thing, but she is one of those. She kneels for the national anthem. And then there was one time where a team just didn't, like a team she was playing, did not want that kind of publicity or just the attention at all. So before her team took the field, they just played the national anthem. And she got all upset. She got upset that she couldn't protest the national anthem. Like, she was going to take a knee for it, but she got upset that they didn't play it and offer her.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And I guess I think she's a big hypocrite, because she kneels for the national anthem, yet she'll take the 6-figure check from the U.S. women's national team to go and play with the stars and stripes on her shoulder and represent, even though she doesn't like the country. I don't know.
So
there's a whole article on it.
I don't know. I mean, there's a. I'm just going. At some point, somebody needs to say, guys, that's enough of the politics in sports. We get enough of it everywhere else. And that always used to be the thing about sports, was that it could unify people that had always been separated because it came down to an athlete or a team and their abilities. That's it. Not what they thought of the world off the field and all of that stuff. We're just here to watch the stinking soccer game.
Yeah,
we don't.
I know. And it's soccer. Like, I mean, it's women's professional league soccer. I'm just saying, not a lot of eyes on it. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so
and
come on.
maybe will there be more as a result of her and her histrionics, or less from the other half of the country that says no, that's not the way I feel. And I think if you're representing the country in international sport, then you ought to be gracious enough, if you win, if you're fortunate to win, to come back to the People's House in Washington D.C. and spend a couple of minutes with the president of the United States. You might not like him, you might not respect him. But he is still the president of the nation.
Yeah, he's still the president. I mean,
So-
I get it, not my president, but I mean, okay, but it's still the president.
Yeah,
just saying it doesn't make it true.
Still in all, I mean, I might disagree with Luli and Guerrero or Josh on one thing or another, but at the end of it, they're my governor and lieutenant governor, and if they ask me to serve in one capacity or the other, I could do that.
Yeah, try that at work. That's not my boss. Not my boss.
So we got the SPG thing. Then all of that starts next week, I guess. Okay.
We also got this over the weekend. Let's see here, Sunday, because I know our friends are APL. We got some friends over at APL.
It's Charlie's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, happy birthday, Charlie. Well, their women's fast pitch softball league played on as the veterans took on the younger counterparts. Queen Bees. Let's see here. Won 28-11. Over the Ninny Bees. The game stayed close through 3 innings, and then the Queen Bees took charge, 28-11. The final there, and then over on the Saturday action game, we had the Aztecs getting a win over the Islanders in walk-off fashion. Dramatic win, 10-9. As the APL Women's Fast Pitch Softball League plays every Friday and every Saturday. Juice went on to defeat Wildfire 12-2 in the late game on Saturday via 10-rule run.
Oh, kind of curious about something. It's unrelated to sports, but I'm curious because you have worked service industry jobs.
Yes.
And in past, it was one of those where the boss didn't need to pay you the minimum wage because we would tip you up. You would get so-called tip credits.
Right. That's in Texas. So in Texas, it kind of blows people's mind when they hear that usually, like when I started because, Dallas. Chili's also started in Dallas, fun fact. And so I started at one of the little local Chili's there. Well, Chili's, any, Red Lobster, Olive Garden, any restaurant in Texas, they practice a $2 this was like the turn of the century, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Early 99, 2000.
It's cool. Do it all the
time. Then they were paying us $2.13 an hour. So you basically, your paycheck would clear your taxes if you got a paycheck at all. I mean, usually within under $10 on the paycheck. But you got tips. So, and it is, people are like, oh, people don't, no. It was rare you got no tip. And usually if you got no tip at all, it was your fault.
It wasn't
not
the
just
customer being a jerk.
Yeah, so it wasn't, we didn't have tourists, whose custom wasn't to not tip. We didn't have people who, I guess because they're you're kind of educated to know that, hey, everybody makes no money. You have to tip. And if you can't afford it, then maybe you can't afford to go out to eat.
Current law here is that you have to get paid at least minimum wage.
Right.
You can still get tips, but they're not to factor that into the construction of your regular salary.
Right.
That's the way it works now.
Well,
so now, having lived in both worlds, where you got a tip credit versus one where the business is only obliged to pay you what you make on your hourly wages, which do you prefer?
So the way that it works here is, and it is kind of interesting, because there will be times where you don't get any tips, but there is nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. Somebody will have a $16.27 bill, and they will wait for their couple pennies and dimes. Seen it happen. But the thing is,
that's me. Sorry.
But the thing is that when you get service charge, so if you work at a place here that has service charge, not all of them do, but if you work at a place that has service charge, yes, there is a 15%, 10%, service charge that some people don't tip because they think, oh, they get that anyway.
But it's not. It doesn't necessarily go to the server. That's part of that goes to the business.
So actually, it does go to the server. There's a little. I think there's a little. But this is the kicker with it. It goes to the server because the way you clock in, it can go to your. When you ring it up, it'll be on your sales sales report. If you, as long as you clock in underneath your ID number, wherever you work, then it'll go on you. Now, the thing is, though, it's taxed, so you don't get all of your money, and it goes on your paycheck. So you have to wait depending on when your establishment pays you. So if you get paid twice a month, if you get paid once a week, if you get paid every 2 weeks, that's when you will get your money. So like if you get $1.20, from a table tomorrow, but you don't get paid until every 2 weeks, then you won't see that $1.20. But the good thing is your hours and that service charge will add up. So your check,
it's not like compounding industry.
So your check can be kind of big. So I think it's nice to get a paycheck, but it's also I like walking out with money. That's the whole tip game. I like walking out with cash
with
on
a couple
hand.
extra bucks.
So I
go to the next place down the street,
Right.
spend it there.
Get something to eat on the way home, maybe some gas, just whatever I need, whatever. So I think it's a little bit. Depending on what you like, But I mean, I think either way, you still.
Well, they're trying to. Apparently, they're trying to. The GHRA talking to the folks over at the legislature over the weekend. Friday, they had a conversation about the minimum wage, and that was one of the things that they wanted to do was to restore the tip credit for workers around here, and maybe for exactly that reason. Don't know. Maybe there'll be some kind of compromise. That's Blake Watson, and whenever I've got a question about stuff like that, he's generally my go-to guy. What's going to be the big deal for sports this week?
For this week, we just have. Let's see, where did I have that? So this week we have there it goes. I have like 18 tabs, so that's what I had to find. The Guam Cal Ripken, and if you didn't see them, shout out to them. I saw them Friday. They were doing some panhandling for a good cause, and they all had their nice reflective orange vests on. So shout out to them. The Guam Cal Ripken 12 and under All-Stars will become the first island team in its 51-year baseball history to compete in the Cal Ripken World Series. The 2019 World Series will take place from August 1st through the 9th in Visalia, California. And so the Guam Cal Ripken 12 under All-Stars will be going. 15-member squad made up of players from the local Cal Ripken League. It finished in May, has been practicing at the Agania Heights baseball field for the past month, and they are getting ready to go. So our Little League representatives fell a little short, but our Cal Ripken representatives going to be at the Little League World Series in California.
That is big news. I was going to say, do we have anything on GML? I know they played a game last night, and I believe that we've got an update. I just don't know if I've got it handy.
Yeah, so the
Expos win.
Yes, Expos win, and they take the series 2-1 to advance, and they will start the championship. Game 1, GML championship, almost done with that league, will kick off Tuesday, tomorrow, 7 p.m. First pitch will fly out at Paseo.
All right, got all that stuff. So if you're looking for ways to entertain yourselves with athletes, that's the way to do that. 8:33 in the morning. That's all the time that we got to talk about sports and minimum wage and tips and stuff like that. Blake Watson's going to go finish the morning show over there on Star 101. On the way back, we'll talk with Rich Hart, who's the guy from IHOP, going to be in the studio in just a couple of minutes. Kevin Kerrigan, though, first with the headlines after these.
Building a business is tough work. Big or small, Nanbo Insurance has your business covered. Nanbo takes the guesswork out of coverage to protect your investments. Over the years, Nanbo has worked with businesses of all sizes, from large hotels to small businesses. Nanbo Insurance will be your best asset. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings, up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
I got 8:35 or so in the studios of 93.3 The Point right here, and there is Kevin from the Guam Daily Post, and a quick look at the headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: the Boy Scouts of America has offered to settle 44 sexual abuse cases involving children on Guam decades ago. The offer was made Friday during a joint status hearing before Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood and Superior Court of Guam Judge Michael Bordallo. Attorney Michael Berman said the proposed settlement amounts are sensitive and confidential and would not be publicly released. He said he still has to meet with another 30 or so clients about the settlement offers, but he told the court that roughly 15 of his clients had already agreed to the settlement that was offered. The next status hearing in the case set for August 16th. The Guam International Airport Authority calling on Superior Court Judge Anita Sokola to cancel her threat to hold the airport in contempt over its refusal to release the transcript of a closed-door board meeting. On May 14th, Sokola issued a scathing decision threatening the airport authority with contempt if it continued to refuse to release the minutes of an April 26, 2018 executive session held by the airport board. The court will not allow GIAA to act in bad faith and yet achieve its goal of keeping the transcript sealed, wrote Sokola in her decision. However, on June 12th, the Guam Supreme Court ruled the Sunshine Act permits the airport authority to withhold the executive session transcripts from disclosure until the litigation between the airport and DFS Guam has concluded. The Supreme Court's decision has rendered the contempt order moot, wrote airport attorney Genevieve Rapadas, who wrote a motion last week and filed it with the court. She called on the judge to vacate her threat to hold the airport in contempt. In court last week, Sokola postponed the contempt hearing until Wednesday of this week to allow her more time to review the Supreme Court opinion. Department of Administration is sending out 1,300 tax refund checks today, totaling about $3.8 million. The latest batch of refunds covers error-free returns filed as of February 6. Taxpayers can expect their tax refunds to be garnished if they owe any money to Guam Memorial Hospital or to the Judiciary of Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you. That's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. It's 8:37. That is iConnect time. Call them at 888-8888 and ask them for details on great rates that they've got for mobile and internet plans.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Miles sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
I got that. Grab your own Wendy's Berry Burst chicken salad, fresh berries, feta, and grilled chicken. But if you're like me and like it's fried and spicy, they'll do that for you because it's Wendy's, made fresh every day.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
888-825-5888-TALK. And taking a look at the traffic gizmo, doesn't look like there's a whole lot that's going to slow you down. Just, you know what it is? It's the drive time is done. Everybody just lurking around some of the intersections. Don't see too many of them that are going to slow you down too much either. I'm looking at, I think the big ones are going to be over by Bank of Guam and cost you less, just off Route 16 out in the Harmon area. Still a little bit of traffic around Home Depot and then traffic just before you get past Route Santos Hill, coming up from the west and generally slowing you down through there. But I don't see anything major getting into the downtown Agunya area. A little busy at the front gate of a big Navy hospital, but Big Navy is churning as well. That is traffic. Right now, traffic, as a matter of fact, on the point.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. 888-825-5888. TALK is a telephone number. And got a couple of guys in the studio. We'll scare them up on the screens here in a second and give you an idea of who it is that I get to play with. Go ahead and turn these microphones on here so everybody knows that there's guestage in the building right now. And one of them, very close friend, personal. Both of these guys are great buddies, and there's no such thing as a short conversation with either of them. I don't know that that's going to be the case today either.
Hey, I'm here for you, man.
Yeah, because Rich walks in and he says, what's all this Fox News stuff?
Yeah, where's CNN?
Where's the CNN? You know what? I don't know. Is it crazy? The CNN feed doesn't work in this building for whatever reason. I don't know what the heck it is. But I got
have
Fox.
the same problem in my office with Fox.
Yeah, right. And somewhere in the middle, I got the lefties over at Sky News and their stories. But so we were talking about. But one of the things that we do agree on is the nature of the get together between Trump and Kim at the DMZ yesterday.
Yeah. Well, as a guy who I can't say I'm a fan, but I gotta say it was pretty remarkable. Yeah. Especially for us here in Guam. Because Jason and I have talked about this a lot, and I've lived in Guam for 21 years now. And this is my home. Mm-hmm. I'm not going anywhere. And that was the only, because we've heard the North Korea stuff forever, right? And
well, you remember last year, people stopped asking about brown tree snakes. They said, "Are you worried that the North Koreans are going to bomb you?" I'm going, "No, not really,
not really." But that time I was. Mm-hmm. That time I was. That time I was nervous that this is getting out of hand, and a lot of it really for us, when we look at it, and you hate to sound kind of superficial, but the reality is our industry here that makes and breaks Guam is tourism. Yeah, and that kind of stuff stops tourism. And anybody who is in the tourism business, now we have restaurants that are geared for local community like Pyology and Applebee's. Of course, we enjoy tourists there, but they're primarily geared for locals. But if you have businesses in Tumon, you felt it in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
You felt it in 2018. And because once people saw that, maybe they had a trip the next weekend or in a month that they couldn't get out of. But when they were planning for the following year, when they were planning for May, June, July, they went somewhere else.
I think we're still in that place because the majority of the Japanese my understanding is that a lot of those planes are coming in and some of those chairs are still being subsidized by taxpayers around here.
Well, subsidized, maybe not, because maybe that's not the way I would look at it, because it's getting them to come.
Is there not still a bonus over at GVB on helping bring the cost of the seat down out of Japan?
I'm not sure, but a lot of people do that. Vegas does that. Vegas does that. Los Angeles, San Francisco, a lot of major cities that are heavily dependent on tourism subsidized. So
that's something I didn't know.
I think GVB did a great job at getting back out there and reconnecting with people and explaining that this is Guam, this is who we are. We're safe. I mean, come on. The reality, we probably were in one of the safest places that there was at that time, just because of all the military that we have here and the dedication
missile
they
defense
have.
system that we have.
Yeah.
The thing that annoyed me the most about that, though, was, and this morning there was a couple of stories where there are people in the opposition, if you will, giving Trump a hard time because they're meeting with a despot here. And I'm going, this is the same people that looked the other way when Obama was belly dancing with Fidel Castro.
Well,
wait a second. Pick your despot here, guys.
Well, maybe we don't need to get into the comparison side of it. Maybe we just need to say it was good.
But you know how it is. People that don't like Trump can't find it good, and I'm glad that you can.
Yeah, well, it was good. It was good, and to him, that's a big win on his side. Yep. What's going on inside the country, maybe that's not stuff that we need to be all that concerned about. Maybe we need to be worried about what's going to happen to ours. And right now, this is stopping anything from happening. Yeah. And especially to us here in Guam, being that we're so close. And once they mentioned, hey, we're going to fire a missile at Guam, whoa.
Time out.
Hold on a minute. This is getting serious.
The Chinese got that thing called the Guam Killer. Also kind of, hey, one other thing on tourism, just because I'm curious, are you starting to see and hear more and more of your friends talking about going down to Bali?
No, but I don't really have any friends. I only have you.
Just me and Jason, right?
Just you and Jason. So, if I had a friend, maybe they would be talking about Bali. I've never been. Personally, I enjoy Japan.
Yes.
Japan has three major cities that are five major cities that are all radically and vastly different from each other. So what I've become accustomed to doing is hitting Tokyo and then getting on the train. And then you go down. You can do Osaka, Kyoto, Nagoya.
Just keep going, go all the way
and
down.
then come
Sasebo
back.
is beautiful.
Yeah, and,
Sasebo is beautiful.
Yeah, Osaka is my favorite city. Where they just had the big G20, and because maybe people can't really see with you're only seeing my pretty face up there, but I kind of have a fat stomach because I like to eat. And Osaka is all about eating.
Mhm.
It is all about eating. Everywhere you go, there's just food.
Dotonbori. The whole
Dotonbori
place.
is like just a cool place.
You walk, you're headed in the right direction when you can smell the barbecued crabs, and it's just there's this pungent aroma that comes through, and you're on the river, and you can get Kobe beef down there.
Get anything.
It's
Matsuzaka.
expensive.
Try Matsuzaka beef. It's better than Kobe. And,
Is it?
Right in the middle of all that
coming from a
craziness.
food guy, right?
Yeah, Matsuzaka beef is the best I've ever had.
Gotcha.
And right in the middle of all that craziness in Dotonbori, you can take like a 20-step down into a basement, and they have a fishing pool. It was where my son caught his first fish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was really cool. You pay for an hour, and you sit there with the little fishing bowl, and you can't, you put them back.
But speaking of cool, so I'm going to assume that since you're talking about Tokyo and then maybe hit Osaka, do you go north? Are you going all the way north up to Sapporo?
I have been to Sapporo, but not recently because it's a little hard to get there right now.
Oh,
you got to go. The tickets are expensive.
Yeah, you go Tokyo and then
it's like $1,200 for a ticket, and it used to be $500. So.
And there's nothing cheap about the Sapporo or Niseko area.
Osaka's reasonable.
Yeah.
Osaka's very reasonable, and you can find like Holiday Inn has kind of become my hotel of choice when I travel in Asia.
Mhm.
Holiday Inns are
Swiss
all over
hotel.
the place. And
try the Swiss Hotel in Osaka. It's right there at the train station.
to try it next time. Well,
Yeah.
Holiday Inn's like 2 blocks from the train station.
So we're supposed to be talking about IHOP. Happy
it's good.
Happy 4th anniversary to IHOP.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And it's been a wonderful 4 years. But obviously we're here for a reason. We felt like it was time for us to make some changes. And
Well, didn't you guys change the International House of Burgers?
No, we didn't do that. But
there was a Halloween or something.
well, it was called IHOB last year, and it was this big thing that they did to talk about their burgers and. Everyone went nuts, but right after the whole thing happened, because everybody was doing this, and Wendy's was tweeting back and forth and all that. But the president of IHOP, Darren Rebelez, went on Good Morning America, and they said, "Why did you do that? Why did you put so much fanfare behind it?" And he said, "Well, right now everybody's talking about IHOP."
Yes,
and I don't agree with the whole all press is good press thing, but. Hey, it wasn't bad press, and it was a way to tell people we do things other than just pancakes.
Yeah,
and the burgers are actually really good. And the garlic burger is the one that I like. The garlicky butter burger is really good because you can't.
Oh, there's one. Oh, look, there's one now.
Yeah. Why don't you take a bite of it?
It's actually that camera's off now. So if you want to show it, then we stick it in that camera, because this one I think.
Yeah. So we didn't change our name to IHOP. It was just a marketing slogan that went out to people to get attention. And of course, where I grew up in New Jersey. There's an IHOP like on every corner.
Really, New Jersey? Is that where that accent's from?
Yep. Northern New Jersey, right by New York City, and there's an IHOP everywhere. So they kind of blend into the crowd after a while, especially the old ones. With the triangle roof and all that, and I think 60 years. They're coming up on 60 years. I think next year, right?
60 plus.
60 plus. So it's been a long time. So I think it was time for them to kind of change it up a little bit, talk a little differently. That although here in Guam, IHOP is new, but in the States, it's not.
No, since I was a kid, there's been
so
IHOP.
a lot of the people that were seeing the advertising on television, that's domestic advertising. We stay on track with what they're doing, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the newness or the idea behind why they do things.
Well, I've always loved the food, always loved the service, always loved the prices, but you guys never satisfied with doing the same thing the same way every day. So there have been some changes to the prices. There have been some changes on what you're doing service-wise.
Well, we're a new company. And I know some of these other companies didn't buy their way into the air, but, we've got Applebee's, Pyology, Olive Garden, and coming soon, Longhorn Steakhouse. So the last 5 years.
How soon is soon? Just 'cause I'm
January.
asking.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, January.
Whereabouts?
It is going to be at GPO.
Okay.
Yeah, and right next to Applebee's. And that's kind of as much as I can say where you can figure that out.
Okay.
But we've been very focused on.
Bulldoze cost you less and put a Longhorn Steakhouse
on the other
there.
side. Yeah,
Okay.
on the GPO property.
All right.
Yeah, and we've been very focused on building our company. And us lefties, creating opportunity is what we do. And we've been really focused on creating opportunity for the people who are inside our company, growing our company to get the best locations we can, maybe not the best timing, but the best location. And sometimes that causes you to lose a little focus on some of the things that are really important. And I think in this situation, the best way for me to describe it is we lost some focus, especially we have one that's in a hotel. So when we're talking about pricing, the one in the hotel, hey, the rent is a lot more expensive in Tumon. And when we started looking at pricing tiers, Jason and I, about 3 months ago, started realizing, hey, this pricing structure is way off, man. This doesn't make a lot of sense. How did we get here? And then after spending a couple of weeks trying to figure out how we got here, I said, it doesn't matter how we got here. What are we going to do?
Can we
what are we going to do? Can we unwrap it and come back and say, hey, look, we've recognized that some things needed to change here. And we did. So we went in and we really looked, talked to our customer. What are you feeling when you order this huge omelet?
Yeah.
And it's a huge omelet. It's enough to serve 2 or 3 people. But the end result was it's expensive. It's expensive. And when you're talking about breakfast, which, yeah, we can make the argument about it being the most important meal of the day or whatever, but you just don't have it, right? $17 is $17, and it was just too much.
That's a lot for eggs and whatever's inside of it.
So we looked at how do we change that? And some of it was we just needed to open our eyes and say, hey, that's just too expensive. That doesn't make sense for the consumer in Guam. It doesn't make sense for us. Even a rich guy like you. Doesn't make sense for a rich guy like you, right? So I'd like to try to come up with a better word or a better explanation, but the reality is we just went in and slashed prices to a certain extent. We cut the prices by 25 or 30% on every dish on the menu. And we also looked at what is our customer telling us they want. And
it's International House of Pancakes. I think we've got a clue right there.
Well, we weren't really focused on that as much as we should have been. We were focused on doing things for the local clientele, thinking that that's what the local clientele wanted. But the reality was they didn't really want kadu and mango beans and ham hocks and things like that. They wanted things that had value proposition to them, that were served in a timely and efficient manner and didn't break the bank. And so with the omelets, we introduced what we've called the omelittles, because anybody who's had an omelet at IHOP knows they're huge, even for a big guy like me. They're huge. And we introduced the omelittle, which essentially
there's nothing little about that. That's the same size as the omelet that I had at the Maxim's Resort Buffet last week.
Yeah, well, it's still a good size omelet. I had one on Saturday, and it comes with 2 pancakes. Your choice of 2 pancakes, hash browns, toast,
I like that.
flavored pancakes, or fresh fruit.
The cheeseburger omelet. Now, yes, I really like that one. That is a good. I remember the first time I had one of those.
And all 7 of our omelets on the menu right now, the omelittles are all priced under $10.
See, that's about right.
So the value proposition is there.
If you hadn't told me that is smaller than the one that you used to serve, I wouldn't have known. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, from the consumer's perspective, and it means that I can spend. So for that, I get that, and I get a couple of pancakes.
And you get your choice. So
so I can spend the rest of it. Give me a cup of coffee, give me another side, something like that.
How old are you, Ray?
Sorry, 57 this year.
Boom.
Senior citizen.
55 plus. We have a great new menu, and it comes with free coffee.
Perfect. Yeah, good you mentioned coffee, because IHOP has wonderful coffee. Sometimes I go there just to get a cup of coffee.
Just to get the coffee.
Yeah, and then when I walk in, everybody wonders, like, oh, man, what is he doing here? And hey, I'm
Secret shopper.
I just want a cup of coffee. I sit down, have a cup of coffee, and go back to my office. So and when
are these prices out? I mean, the brand new menus out there. It's available right now. So somebody that's listening can go to either of the IHOPs.
This is Tamuning only.
This
is Tamuning only. Yeah,
because Tumon is still expensive.
This is what we.
No, I don't mean. I meant the rent is still expensive in Tumon.
Well, Tumon is Tumon, right? Yeah. And when we talk about parking and going down to Tumon, I mean, how often do you go to Tumon?
You saw me there the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
last night.
I go down to Tumon a lot because I have to. But outside of that, taking my son to Underwater World Camp or something like that, there's not a lot of reason that draws me down into Tumon. This is our local IHOP, but we've come to calling it IHOP Local. And not necessarily because it offers all kinds of local food, but because this is our local restaurant that's here for the community. And
I thought it sounded like you were, you slashed the prices and you were making some judgments on the menu, but there's still a lot of diversity and variety in this menu. We've got obviously you got the pancakes and you got combos, you've got omelets, local favorites. I'm going to say the word bangos because they have milkfish there as well, and they've got Shanghai lumpia. What is that? Barbecue chicken, barbecue short ribs, barbecue pork chops as well. Sandwiches of all varieties, including a Philly cheese stacker and the ultimate steak burgers. Not cheeseburgers, because the line is it starts with good steaks.
Yeah, well, you have to start like making a sandwich. You can't have a great sandwich if you don't have great bread. And with a burger, you can't have a good burger if you start with a cheap product.
That's right.
So we're starting with a really good quality beef product. That is certified Angus beef, ground chuck, and we're ending up with a great product. But more importantly, again, here the value proposition is outstanding on these items because they're priced very accordingly.
Okay, so as an example, the classic here. This anywhere else, this is a $13, $14 burger,
maybe
right?
Give or take.
Yeah. So the one I'm looking at is $8.99.
Yeah, it's $8.99.
And that's a fat burger, there, bro.
Well, that's your garden variety cheeseburger, right? Hamburger, cheeseburger, and then you can go up a little more if you want something really big, like the double mega monster cheeseburger. You're going to get up in the $12.99, $13 range, but that's for the really hearty appetite, or maybe somebody who wants to share it or split it. And the burgers really are great. And then really focusing on our pancakes, we dropped the local item selection down from what we were doing and focused on the stuff that we know that we can do well. And it was when we had this huge, expansive menu with all of this local food, I kind of compared it to like swimming with one arm. You can do it. You just can't do it very well.
Yeah, hold you back from really excelling on the other stuff.
And this way, we can focus on, one, this is what our product mixes were telling us people wanted to eat, because these are the things that we're selling. And these are the things that we need to be able to turn around. And we also recognize the fact that there's a lot of instances where we probably weren't as good as we could have been. And we may or may not have let some people down. And, we encourage people to come back, give it a shot.
Yeah.
And if there's something that's not satisfactory to you during that time, our managers are on duty. They're there to serve you. And all these, I think, when we've gotten into this kind of socially connected world that we all live in, and this is something I find myself talking about more and more and more. And anybody else out there who has children, who are in the 12 to 15-year-old range. I have a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old, and my 6-year-old doesn't have a phone, but my 12-year-old does. You're sitting there at dinner and, like, okay, here we're having a family dinner and where are the kids? They're on the phone, right? But that doesn't only apply to kids. That applies to adults as well, that we've kind of stopped, we as a community or society have kind of lowered our own expectations to a certain extent, that going to Facebook became more convenient
than actually getting up and talking to somebody and
saying,
expressing
hey,
a concern.
Look, this is not what I came here for. You see these funny movies like Waiting and where you hear all these horror stories, but I assure you, those things don't happen.
Long and short of this is there have been a couple of changes over at IHOP. You will feel them in your wallet. You'll taste them in your mouth.
Absolutely.
The same great food at really, really awesome prices. Check out the Tumuning place today. You got anything with about 30 seconds left? Are there any big specials that you guys have got coming up for the relaunch?
Well, right now we have the Ultimate Burger promotion, which is featuring the steak burgers.
Perfect.
So,
like the one that you're going to leave here in the studio for me.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Oh, is that
our new local? And our new local moco. And I gotta say, our guys worked really hard on this.
Yeah, this
that's $9.99. Yeah, that's a $9.99 dish right there. I mean,
Pick
you
the
cannot
wrong
go
day
wrong
to start
with
a diet, guys.
Yeah,
hey, thanks for coming in, Jace. Rich, always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank
Always a
you.
pleasure when you come by. It's always fun talking with you. We'll get into some cool political
Yeah,
stuff
I'll
later.
come on to your politics show one day.
Yeah, one day. When I do one.
Yeah, we'll have some fun.
It's 9. It's time for Fox News Live, brought to you by IHOP and Rich Hart. Ladies and gentlemen.
President to cross the border into North Korea.
Stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made.
The president and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un then sat down for roughly 50 minutes in the demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea. The talks not considered a summit, though President Trump says That's coming.
The big thing here for North Korea is to get out from underneath the crushing sanctions that have been on that country for years upon years. Kim Jong-un thought that he could get out from under at least some of the sanctions with an offer back in Hanoi in February to shutter and dismantle the Yongbyon nuclear facility. President Trump said it would take a lot more than that. Still too early to talk about lifting sanctions, but the president says ultimately that's his goal.
Fox's John Roberts traveling with the president, who is now heading home after his 4-day Asian trip, which included the G20 summit in Japan and sit-downs there with Russian President Vladimir Putin and China's leader Xi Jinping. Fox's Tucker Carlson will have an exclusive interview with the president to talk about all of it tomorrow night at 8 p.m. That's Eastern Time on the Fox News Channel. Former Vice President Joe Biden not impressed by the president's border crossing, issuing this statement.
Says President Trump's coddling of dictators at the expense of American national security and interests is one of the most dangerous ways he's diminishing us on the world stage and subverting our values as a nation.
Fox's Mark Meredith, this developing story. A plane has crashed at the municipal airport in Addison, Texas. That's just north of Dallas. 10 people are dead. The plane apparently experienced some trouble during takeoff, slammed into a nearby hangar, bursting into flames. The NTSB headed to the scene. This is Fox News.
Discover a new Galaxy. GTA introduces the new Samsung Galaxy S10 in 3 different sizes. The Galaxy S10 comes with cool new features like Power Share that allows you the ability to share your battery power with other devices. Or you can capture a wider world with its new camera featuring an ultra-wide lens for when you need to take pictures of the whole family. And with GTA handset payment option, you can take home a Galaxy S10 for $0 down. GTA, we start with you.
Your home is one of the most important investments you'll make in your life. At Nanbo Insurance, you can rest easy knowing that you're covered with reliable and affordable homeowners insurance. Nanbo makes it easy to protect what matters the most so you can enjoy the moments that matter the most. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
The crowd put at 100,000 for the Pride Parade in New York City today.
We will survive!
Marchers passed by the Stonewall Inn on the National Register of Historic Places, a riot there 50 years ago by gay patrons tired of humiliating police raid, is considered the start of the Pride movement. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi addressed an audience at the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club in her home district of San Francisco.
Making our country respectful, taking pride in our LGBTQ community makes America more American. Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your pride we take. Happy Pride.
Senator Kamala Harris, wearing a sequined rainbow blazer, rode a red Mustang in San Francisco's Gay Pride Parade. Having trouble shaking this off. Taylor Swift sounding off about the sale of her master tapes to a man she calls her nemesis, saying she's sad and grossed out that Scooter Braun, whom she accuses of subjecting her to years of manipulative bullying, bought the Big Machine label group and now owns all of her music. She signed with a new record label and will own all of her future work. No response from Braun. And Kevin Durant is Brooklyn bound. After 3 seasons with the Golden State Warriors, he reportedly signed a 4-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets worth $164 million. The Warriors would have given him $221 million over 5 years to stay. He led that team to 2 straight titles in 2017 and 18, was injured for much of the postseason this year with a ruptured right Achilles. That injury could keep him on the sidelines all of next season, too. I'm Jane Metzler. This is Fox News.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
What happened? Time for me to talk? Which ones? Oh, those. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'm sorry, I forgot. It's 9 o'clock hour. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines. They got a new tag phrase, and I forgot to write it down, and it's right in front of me. So eventually I'm going to read it to you. But if you're over at APL or you do business with APL, call and say, happy birthday, Charlie Hermosa. Point Programming is being brought to you by American President Lines. Global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by Ruby Tuesdays. 2 endless garden bars, a couple of tasty entrees, and a dessert to share for a terrific price. Just one price, actually. 2-for-1 Tuesdays at Ruby Tuesdays offer 2 complete meals for a terrific value. $25.99 all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Cars Plus, where they're enjoying performance days, where you can get your hands behind on the wheel of a Charger SXT or Challenger GT. You know, they do cycles there as well. It's a place called Cycles Plus next door. And I think you're going to like the conversation I'm going to be in with somebody who knows a thing or two about the cycles and the Harleys that they've got there as well. And the guys at Micronesia Renewable Energy, you know, there's never been a better time to go solar.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
What's that? Lady D online saying the guy on the top showing the food is making me hungry. That guy is Jason, and is you know, I'm fine most of the morning. I don't generally eat anything. I got a cup of coffee here or there, and oro no min si is one of the things that I use to start my day. I don't generally eat anything, but for some reason, the guy walks in, he's got 3 trays of food, and then my stomach starts making noise. I can hear my stomach growl while I'm having the conversation with Rich Hart. It's that bad. Rudy Magallanes online from the Philippines is let me make a suggestion. Since it's free coffee for senior citizens, why not put IHOP in Manilao and Denito, where there's a large population of senior citizens? You know, there's a very good point. I'll leave that with Mr. Hart before he leaves. Maka's online. That's nice to see her. There's Dave Evans, Big Sister Shelley online as well. Marcus McManus. And like I said, Rudy Magallanes, who's broadcasting live from the Philippines, where he continues to be. And waking up early because it's only 7 o'clock there right now. Be like Michael Knight. Wake up at 4. Anyway, 8 after... is that right? Yeah, 8 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK is the phone number around here. A bunch of people we've talked to already, and I thought of some interesting folks, including Bob Klitsky, who's probably going to spend a lot of time this afternoon. And I think it's going to be, what is it, decolonization versus Lou? I don't know how he's going to put the card together. So you'll need to be listening for that as the program begins a little bit later on this morning. And now in the studio, in the studio with me, I believe you're still the current president of the Guam Hogs MC, right?
Yes, I am.
It's nice to see you, but I can't tell if you see me because you got the dark shades on, bro.
I can see you.
People want to know what cool looks like. Then just put your radio on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live, and you can see what's going on there. I got a note from Arlene, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, "Dude, we're doing that Christmas in July run again. Can we get some airtime?" And the answer, and I told her the answer for the Hogs is always going to be yes.
Thank you very much.
Whatever you need, whenever you need it, you just swing by the radio station. We'll get you on the air. So tell me a little bit about this particular ride, because it's Christmassy and it's only July.
Yes, this is one of our bigger rides that we do every year as the Guam Hogs. We also invite all MCs and riding groups and solo riders.
Is MC short for motorcycle club? Because we're too cool to say motorcycle clubs. It's just MCO.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to just say MC. But yeah, even solo riders are more than welcome to join the event. What we do is we go around, we get some donations from different businesses, different people who want to donate. I'd like to say a special thank you to Tishwana Smith and Kiana Smith. Their family donated some money to the event and to help this event go really well. What we do is we basically go around to different organizations, children organizations, to help the organization. What our mission is to basically the club's mission is to help Guam's children who also need to go off island for medical treatment.
Right.
And so this is a way for us to give back to the community, and for those who are less fortunate, it's summertime. Kids should be outside playing and have a good time.
Not being inside sick.
Not being in the hospital sick, not being in a shelter or a place away from their family. So this is a way for us to give back to them. So what we're doing is we get supplies from different businesses, and we do teddy bears as well. So that would be a good thing if you guys want to donate. We go around and we collect. We speak to these different organizations. So this year we're helping out Sanctuary, Ali Shelter, Erica's House. This is the first year we're doing DYA and the hospital, GMH. And so some of the supplies that we get are coloring books, shampoos, laundry soap, rice, oil, toothpaste, deodorant, kind of stuff the kids need for when they're in like Sanctuary and DYA, because they're again away from their house, their parents and family. And so what we ask for the children in the hospital is more or less like coloring books, crossword puzzles,
Something to keep them occupied.
Yeah, stuffed animals, and they also have stuff that is non-allergenic for the kids in the hospital. No food islands, no too small of a toy for the kids.
Because they're going to choke.
Yeah.
So and just think about your kids, and what if your kid was going to be in the hospital for any length of time, right? How are you going to keep the kid occupied? How will you keep them entertained? How will you keep them clean? Because the hospital is not the Hilton. It's not like these guys are walking around with toothbrushes and body soap and shampoo and conditioner and all of that. So put together a couple of those little care packages, or better yet, find Roro and give them some money, and then they'll go out and buy it, and they'll make the little care packages.
Yes, we do accept monetary donations as well, as that also helps with purchasing of some of the items that are not on the wish list that we get from the different organizations, and some of the drop locations. You'll find them at VFW 1509 in Jigo, Harley Davidson in Guam.
All right.
KO's Tavern, which is across the Lupang Beach Towers. Wild Bill's, which is across the old Pizza Hut in Tamuning, Sakura Noodle House.
Everybody knows where's Wild Bill's.
The old lights or whatever.
Dude, I walked in there. I walked in. It's like $5. The cool thing is you can walk in literally with $5 and leave full.
Right?
Because it's just like there's the beer and there's the food over there. And Wild Bill's has got this great chest that's like every time I've been there. Like I said, I walk out full. They had the spicy meatballs one night. I had some Vietnamese concoction or something like that. I'm like, dude, can I get more than one? And they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
I like that spot.
Another place is Lada's in Anigua.
Yeah.
It's across the Napa.
Okay. All right, so some of the usual spots there. Dude, there's another place to go where you guys got to cruise by one of these is Seaside. Down in Petey, you ever go there?
No.
It's crazy. Yeah, crazy karaoke. Even if you suck, they'll still clap. It's nice. And wouldn't it be fun, right? Just on a weekend, just go hang out with these guys. Now, are you currently accepting any membership in the Hogs?
Of course.
Of course we are.
Always.
Yeah. And this would make a great inaugural ride.
Yes.
For somebody, right? It's like the very first time you get out there and you get to find out what the club is all about, and that's helping kids, helping the community. So your very first time, that ought to be the wish behind the ride.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we get a lot of different clubs that do ride and riding groups and solo riders who ride with us on this particular ride. And man, when we go inside and we talk to the kids who are in places they don't want to be, and you talk to them and you hear what they have to say and some of the stuff that they have to go through. There's even for bikers, sometimes there's not a dry eye in the room. So it really it's a feel-good ride. I mean, it's a Christmas in July.
It's Christmas
ride.
in
Yeah.
July. That's the idea. Is, you get that Christmassy feeling, and hopefully it stays with you until it gets to be November and December with all the other crazy stuff that we've got going on around here. I wanted to ask you a question. I've been trying to talk to guys over at the Mayor's Council, but they're mad at me because I let Kenley and Guru say some things about Sublime Angel. But anyway, the question is, somebody had told me there's a rumor floating around that this year's Liberation festivities, the parade, is not going to be started with motorcycles like it has in the past.
Actually, yes. No, I heard that same rumor, and I've contacted the people that be, and they've had a meeting already and discussed it, and they will have the motorcycles.
There will be?
Yes.
Okay, because I was worried about that, because it's been, the last 15 years or so that it has been, that's how we know that the parade has started, because you can hear it, but you can also feel it.
Yes.
You get the rumbling of hundreds of motorcycles on the roads, and in some cases, these are motorcycles that were, if you look at the calendar, it's July 4th right around the corner, and there's going to be something similar going up in Saipan, right? Are you riding up in Saipan?
No.
Do they still do that though?
Yes.
I know there's some guys that'll send their rides up and then participate in their Liberation 4th of July celebration.
Yes, I've actually seen on Facebook and stuff how they do theirs. I believe they're still going to do theirs this year.
Yeah. Okay.
But here,
they got to do it this year. I mean, they just had that big storm earlier.
Yeah.
The kids need it. You talk about kids needing something. Think about the kids up in Saipan, what they've had to deal with since that storm went through last year. Anyway, so you got that. So that's not going to happen. There is going to be motorcycles and car clubs and motorcycle clubs to start the 75th Liberation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
I'm sure there's a great story
going
there.
Back to going back to what you were saying on how we get members. A lot of the solo riders or different people that ride for this ride actually do ask, hey, how can I be more involved? How can I be a part of this? And, we just tell them, hey, you're more than welcome to come into the club, or, there's other clubs out here you can talk to.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, since they see that we do a lot more events for the community and support other events for the community, they
kind of gravitate in your direction. Yeah. If you can feel the draw, for wanting to help out the community. One other thing that you wanted to help out, speaking of community, and it's someplace that I had a really, really good time. Kim from the band, right? Kim Aiken?
Yes.
So he invites me up one day. He says, hey, what are you doing Saturday? I said, I don't know. What should I be doing? I say, come up to the VFW.
Yes.
Now, but the first thing is I had to find it. Because they moved the VFW. You remember it used to be in that old house?
Yeah.
Underneath the mango tree? And then they moved that. And I drove right to that old place like I was expecting it to be there, and it was gone. And I thought, oh, my God, where did it go? It's still even up in Jigo. So they moved the VFW to the, town center?
Yeah, the old Wendy's that was down there, right next to the Bank of Guam.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so they're doing their 50th year anniversary for VFW 1509. So they're going to have some food, entertainment, and stuff like that around 4 o'clock.
When is there not food and entertainment there?
I don't know, but they have a whole thing set up because it is their 50th year anniversary. So that's something that's going to be.
I was going to say they rolled their prices back 50 years, but it's still it has got to be the cheapest beer on Guam on a Saturday night is at VFW, and it's you don't have to be a veteran of a foreign war. If you are, thank you very much for your service. But if you just want to come up and listen to the band, and there's a great band. When I was there, like I said, it was Kim, and what Kim's got to be 65.
I don't know.
64, 65? No, he looks really good for his age.
Yeah.
But everybody else in the band is also senior citizen. and they know the tunes like they know their own smell. So you got that, and there's always somebody cooking, flipping T-bone steaks in the back. So that's always nice. So
that one's usually the third Saturday of every month.
Right. But even that's special price, right? You can like pre-order it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wednesday before.
So if you are up there and you don't know the magic of it, then great. My only problem is I might be enticed to stick around and have some more of those cheap beers and forget to designate a driver to take me back to the house.
Right.
Does Korean Taxi go up that far?
I have a DD.
Yeah, there you go.
Arlene's my DD.
Arlene is, yeah. She's so cool. She reached out to me and said, "Can I get these guys on the air?" If you're helping out the kids, the answer is going to be definitely yes. A couple more information about the ride. What's the big deal?
Yeah, so the ride is scheduled for July 14th. It's a Sunday. We're going to meet up at Shirley's in Agana at 9 o'clock. Rollout will be about 9:45. Safety brief will be at 9:30. So if you want to come early, eat some breakfast at Shirley's, you're more than welcome. Again,
Safety brief? You guys don't go fast enough for a safety brief. You ever see these guys on the road, the Hogs? You guys cruise at like 34 miles an hour because it looks cool going down the road at 34 miles an hour. I never on the highways you guys are going faster, but I know in the villages and stuff you just kind of cruise.
Yeah, it looks good. Just wow, that looks like a nice bike. It looks like they're going fast, but they're actually just cruising.
Yep, that's nice. When's the next overnight?
The anniversary party?
Yeah, so it happens at the beach, stays at the beach.
Right.
Because I was supposed to go last year. I remember threatening to go hang out with you guys. I wasn't going to ride. I was just going to go and, bring the hammock down and cruise.
Yeah, last year was the 25th. This year we just recently did it in April. So usually in April we'll be doing ours again.
So I missed.
Down in Epan.
Right on. Okay, I'll find another excuse. I'll find another excuse. All right, so safety briefing at 9:30. Going to hit the road at 9:45. After party is where?
Wild Bills.
Got it.
So what it is we ride out to the different locations again. So this is the way the route's basically going to go. First, we leave Shirley's in Agana to Ollie Shelter. They're not going to have too many kids there, so we're just going to basically drop off their supplies to them. And then from there, we'll ride down through Jigo and then come back up and hit DYA. We'll actually stop there, take down the stuff, talk with the kids there. Make them feel like, even though you're in this situation, there's still some positive that, you can still come out of it. I mean, there are riders who's been in your shoes and look where they're at now. They're
figured it out.
They're doing great things for the community. They're doing great things for the people. And from there, we go straight to Sanctuary, and we'll sit in there and talk with the kids again. And then from there, we'll go to the hospital. We'll drop off some of the toys. Santa, we're going to have Santa with us, too. So Santa will go up and see the kids in the hospital.
You'll be doing something along the same. The Jingle Bell Run's going to be happening in December as well.
That is the Christmas Candy Run.
Christmas Candy Run. Okay, which is another. So this is the thing about the Hogs. They like Christmas. They celebrate twice. Is what's going to be happening. Now, for anybody who wants to learn more information, where do we go? I mean, because I can just say, just look for Arlene Evangelista on Facebook, and then there's an easier way to get a hold of you guys, right?
Yeah, you can reach us on Guam Hogs, that is HAWGS, on Facebook, or you can reach us at guam.hogs@gmail.com. Or you can get a hold of me, 689-4232.
Just you make enough noise and say, I'm looking for Roro. These guys are like the A-team. They'll just show up.
Well,
we heard you're looking for us.
Yeah.
Just go to Wild Bills. The number's up there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. So now you're current president, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so when's the next election? Or is it president for life? Not president for life?
No.
Okay.
It's every year, and then you're allowed 2 years consecutive, and then you got to step down and give somebody else the opportunity. Yeah,
but there's a lot of talent in your organization. I've been around your meetings, and it is surprisingly businesslike, considering it's all these guys in their leathers and their dark sunglasses in the inside. It is surprisingly businesslike when they have them. If you want to be a part of it, same contact information. It's 9:24. I'm gonna let you ride, and I would also stick my head in over there and see if Daryl might give give you a couple of minutes on the radio if he doesn't have somebody in front of him.
All right.
Yeah, and then there's Blake over on this side. Just show him the poster and tell him I said it's all right.
Definitely.
Right on, right on. Thanks,
All right, thanks, brother.
Good to have you in the studio. 9:25 in the morning. We'll call that iConnect time. Go to iConnect or find them on the web at iConnectGuam.com and ask about great ways that they can help you save some money on mobile and internet plans.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Have you ever made a big mistake in your job or career, or with investing, for example? I mean, a really big mistake. How much was that mistake worth? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we'll pursue big mistakes and their price tags.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Well, how about that? It's always nice to take a look at what Facebook says about people's birthdays. A very good friend of mine, one of the first professionals I ever had the pleasure of working with as a broadcaster. He was then, at the time, I want to say was at the morning show at K-Stereo in 1979, 80 maybe? 81 for sure. Dave Angel, easily one of the best broadcast voices ever. In the history of Guam broadcasting, is celebrating a birthday today. So if you know him on Facebook, David Angel is what he goes by on Facebook. Click on his name and tell him you heard I said it was his birthday. Lisa St. Augustine is celebrating a birthday. So is Adita Camarillo, Mark Mendiola, Jennifer Crisostomo, Harlan Feliciano, a new member of the Ethics Committee over at the that they put together, they swore in last week, is Shannon Murphy, who is celebrating a birthday today. Murphy, wonder if she knows anybody in the newspaper business from Once Upon a Time. Happy birthday to you, Shan. Pete Seguin is celebrating a birthday today. Is that Judge Pete, as in Harley Rider Pete? Could be. And Mario Boro has got a birthday today. If you got birthday, look at that. I didn't realize this. Fred Robinson, another great radio guy, is celebrating his birthday was yesterday, but I wasn't on the radio, so I don't have to say belated. I just got it now. So happy birthday to you. Marie Mesa, who's a friend of mine living in, where's she, Arizona now? Celebrating a birthday. I saw her when her and the old man came out here once upon a time. Anyway, 9:28, and there we are. I got what do I got to kill? 32 minutes here before the end of the program. All right, see if you can line up some of those people I put on the card. That'd be awesome. And then we'll work through the table of contents. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Now I have in the past just gone right through the table of contents. Every once in a while, though, it occurs to me that maybe one of the fun things I might be able to do is like pick up the newspaper and just randomly kind of go through it and see if there's anything interesting or entertaining. And when I say interesting and entertaining, I mean something interesting and entertaining for me is the way that I view the world. And hopefully you're okay with that. You must be. You're here listening and watching on the Facebook Live. Front page, today's Guam Daily Post. What's it say? Life is better inside than it is outside. And you might look at that and go, what? What did I just... That we've got somebody, a uniform-wearing member of Guam Police Department's major, who says that could be the reason why there is so much recidivism in this town. It was because life is actually better for a lot of these guys, actually better... in the Department of Corrections than it is outside where you and I live. And you're going, how is that possible? How could it be? Well, every once in a while, I do a run over by Micronesia Mall, the intersection there. And you know how it is that there's two ways into Two Lovers Point. You got the northern way, which is kind of across from more of the Micronesia Mall. And then there's another one, which is like right next to Jack in the Box. Now, I'm not talking about the intersection. I'm talking about the land in between that. It's where Dennis Rodriguez usually has a sign. Now, if you are there at the right time of day, there are people that will walk out of the boonies. Because that's where they live. They live in the boonies. There are concrete pads all over that place. It used to be some kind of military installation back in the 40s. And there are concrete pads there, and that's sufficient enough to lay down a piece of cardboard, maybe have a little barbecue thing going on in the back there, little plumes of smoke that will arise out of that. There ain't a grass fire. There's people that live in there. There's people squatting on that land. You think they got running water? Like in prison? Do you think these guys are taking showers like they would be in prison? You think they got a flushing toilet out there in the boondocks between the intersections like they've got in prison? It is possible. It is possible. There were kids get in trouble. It's legendary stories from when Real Joe Cruz was growing up. Legendary stories. You get a boy in school, gets in trouble, and gets thrown into the Department of Youth Affairs. What's the girlfriend to do? She gets in trouble, too, so she can get thrown into the Department of Youth Affairs. Life's not worth living unless I'm with my chick. Right? We've heard that kind of thing. So you might be going, it's far-fetched. The idea that it is far-fetched that people want to get in trouble with the law and break the law on a consistent and recurring basis so they can go in and get 3 square meals a day, health care, some place to sleep that's softer than the cardboard, flushing toilets, running water. Might be something to it, huh? I don't know. But there's a bunch of different separate conversations going on. I don't know. I don't know that I could see it that way. What's that, Nate? 3 square meals a day, a roof over your head, plenty of time to exercise, and no responsibilities. Like I said, what are the biggest impediments? I mean, when you think about it, we even had a judge. We even had a judge not that long ago that was talking about how it's easier to get your hands on drugs in the prison than it would be outside. And I'll bet there's something to that. No responsibilities, all kinds of time to exercise. You ever think, I really wish I had some time to read War and Peace? Well, you get thrown in jail. Obviously, you'd have plenty of time. The only thing is, as I said before, you've got the constant threat of an assault. Take me, for example. Sorry, I'm too pretty for jail. And I've got a mouth. I've got this mouth. So it would not be long before somebody tried to put their fist through it. And like I said, I'm pretty for jail. Don't you think I'd have a boyfriend in about 20 minutes? I know. I'm sorry. The riff that's going on in my head is crazier than the riff that's coming out of my mouth. I'm just going to tell you right now. I got 2 separate streams of thought, and they're both entertaining to me. But it's anyway. The idea that, don't drop the soap in the shower at the prison, that's got to be in your head the entire time. But if you can get through that, if you can punch through that, literally, can you defend yourself in there? Do you think you could put together a gang of guys that would take care of you? Or just, be able to, Shawshank Redemption, all of that stuff. Would there be some buddies that would kind of keep an eye out for it? If that were the case, if I was going in knowing that all my bros were in there, right? What's the harm? They're partying at DepCorp. So there could actually be something to that particular story. Anyway, read up on that. I thought it was interesting. There's another story here about a bill targeting chemicals in the drinking water that I don't know. Maybe I just I don't get it. It doesn't come through in my Facebook feeds. I didn't see anything about it on Twitter or Instagram, but apparently it has been out there for a long time, and there are companies in the States. Manufacturers that are about to get sued for it. And there could be, like the tobacco settlement, it could be some serious bucks coming in if we are able to join these lawsuits. So folks over at the legislature said PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, it's bad. You never heard about it before? Sorry, you're just ignorant. That stuff's bad. Makes babies get born with naked. You know? Have to wear, won't be able to speak English until they're 4 or 5 years old. Won't be able to walk for 8 or 9 months before they take their first steps. You know why? Because you look over the rest of the animal kingdom, right? You look at a horse. Horse starts standing like as soon as it's born, right? Baby's born. They don't start walking on their own for, months, year and a half. You know why? Polyfluoroalkyl substances. That's why. We've got to do something about it. So I'm sure that there are people who are the appropriate kind of bedwetters in this case that are really, really wringing their hands over PFASs. But my guess is the rest of this is all somebody's about to get sued. There's going to be a massive paycheck for municipalities, especially municipalities that have been around military facilities or have military facilities in them in the past. So if you don't line up now, if you don't get into the queue, it's gonna feel like the last days for people to find Dave Lujan and say that Polly touched me in an inappropriate way. That's where we are here. Is they're about to shut the door, I think, on the class, and so if we don't get in there, then we're all just gonna be screwed. So I don't know. And yeah, there's that. How can that be? Lady D says GWA said the water's safe. They just mailed pamphlets that said the water's safe. So, but is it not? Do we have these chemicals in the drinking water in parts per million that might be of a concern to us?
Ray, I know you remember when you were younger and you would drink from the faucet into a glass. They pour it in a glass and it would be like this cloudy.
Yeah.
You wait for it to clear.
I've listened. I've got the hardest water on Guam. I have got the hardest water. I've been living there. What is it? Almost 11 months. And the first thing that I did was when I got, well, not the first thing I did, one of the first thing you do is you buy toilet paper. But the next, right after that, then I went to Home Depot or Benson or someplace, and I got a new, no, not a water saw. I got a new water thing for the shower head, right? Not the fanciest one they had in the store. It's not the Dusitani. It's just my bathroom. And so I got one of those and stuck it on the shower head. And within, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, yeah, pretty soon the little streams, they start pointing off in cockeyed directions. They don't all happen. They don't fall in the same part of the body at the same time. And some they just close up. Some just close up. I've just got the hardest water. I can take you into the kitchen or wash the dishes. Like any other human being. Wash the dishes and stick it up on the sink. Let it dry, and you come back to it. I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes later. It looks like it needs to be washed again. There's just it's got water spots just all over the thing. I don't have a water softener. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to get one because do I really need to spend another $11, $20 a month for the salt that goes in that? Or maybe I just put a filter on everything. Now, it depends on who you talk to. The people that want to sell you the soft water thing don't want you putting a filter on. No, that filter won't do anything. No. You want to get this through the water softener here. Don't you think your clothes would be softer if you didn't have the water softener? You ever hear some of these guys talking? I've been a believer. I got a house and it had it in there already, and I was the happiest guy in the world, right? It's one layer of filtration. I thought it was pretty cool. You know what you don't get used to when you got a water softener in the house is the fact that nothing ever feels like you've washed all the soap off of it, including you. Then you put the soap on you put the soap on a dish, and you sit there and you just run it under the water, waiting for it to stop feeling like it's soapy, and it never ever happens. And finally, I've just decided my family's just going to have to eat soap. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so there's that. So that's what I think is happening in this PFAS case. Now, I could be wrong. But I don't think I am. I think this is going to be one of those opportunities for us to line up and see if we can get our share of PFAS settlement dollars from some of these companies. That's if they lose. Now there's another interesting story. Hold on, that's page 1. Page 2 is feel-good stuff. 3 is an ad. 4, Burns to wear symbol of authority and unity with the Pope. He got a pallium. It's one of those things. There will be a test, ladies and gentlemen, and the correct answer is pallium, spelled with 2 L's. Because this is our guy now. I think they shaved his head. I'm not sure if that was part of the process or. We must educate you on the extent of damages called by PFAS and identify those responsible. Make certain that our waters are returned to their natural purity, says Governor Lulian Guerrero. I had to laugh last week. Last week when she was talking about the resolution coming out of the legislature about it's like 28 pages. Or something ridiculous like that, and I'm kind of with her. And she and I are on the same boat on that one because she didn't read it either. Hey, what do you know about that resolution, Gov? I haven't really read the whole thing just yet. I'm like, that's my Gov. There you go, Lulu. Luli. That's her middle name. Luli on Guerrero is how we do that name. I thought that was cool. And then we've got this story here, and there is Tina Rose Munoz Barnes has got a WhatsApp, and so the guys on the WhatsApp have been asking questions this morning because page 5 of the Guam Daily Post has this story: local war claims bill submitted for federal review. What local war claims bill has been submitted for a federal? I thought we were going to let Mikey handle this because Mikey's in Washington, D.C. with the people who can press the button that will wake up the people that will sign the checks in Washington, D.C. on war claims. It was mishandled coming out of the last congressional administration, and they've been working to resolve the problem. Now, they should have, I believe, always spoken with one voice on one plan. And the plan was, let Mikey handle it. It's an administrative fix that can be done in Congress. And while it won't be done quickly because it's Congress, it will still get done. Here's the problem, though. If we let Mikey handle this in Congress, this is Mikey's victory lap. Mikey's the guy that gets to walk around with the sash and the cape and say, look, I finally, after a million years of nobody being able to do anything, finally gotten to a point where we can put some money in the hands of the survivors of the Second World War. But wait a second. Where does that leave the administration? Where does that leave the legislature? How can we get these people and their families to vote for us if we're not the ones that are putting their money in their hands? So apparently there is another piece of legislation that they have sent to somebody in Washington, D.C. to take a look, and if they get some kind of approval, maybe there is a way that, and I'm trying to figure out the convoluted way this is supposed to happen. None of it makes any sense to me. I don't know if it makes any sense to you either. And it won't make any, it makes even less sense because apparently it's secret. The bill is not available to the public, according to the Speaker's office. What? What do you mean the bill's not available to the public? Who do these people work for?
I think Bob Klitze started twitching right about now.
Yeah. I guarantee it. He's got, in fact, he's got a little muscle in his eyebrow. It's called the Klitze. It's a little minor muscle. The Klitze muscle. And, it started just, like a bug zapper. Have we started using Klitze as a verb yet? Dude, you've been Klitzked. I'm sorry. Yeah, you were doing good, and then you screwed up, and now you start talking about a secret piece of legislation, and you got Klitzked. There's just way too much secret stuff floating around. Wasn't the media kicked out of a get-together last week or so? Not war claims, but I don't know, something to do with the firing range. They had a meeting, and they got all the people together, and they still got kicked out. So I don't know about that. And so we're joking with Shiragan, those guys. I'm sure they have absolutely no sense of humor about it. But talking about the secret memo and the secret piece of legislation that was held in a secret meeting where the invitations were sent out by a secret courier. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Now I'm trying to figure out which Guam we live in where there's still people walking around saying, oh, yeah, we got legislation. Well, can I see it? No. Who gets to see it first? Somebody. Not you, Mr. Media. Who do you think you are? Representatives of the people of Guam? Nobody voted for you. All right. So there's the story. Plea deal in mail theft case, page 6, Guam Daily Post. This all stuff is in my table of contents anyway. I can read it out of the newspaper. I can riff off the newspaper, or I can read it out of my notebook. You know, choice is mine. Plea deal in mail theft case. And I'm trying to figure this out. It's district court. Yeah, I equate district court and the Guam Superior Court the same way I look at the House and the Senate. Where you got the House, and the House would be like, you know, the district court, where you got, like, you know, you got some people, and they make decisions, and, you know, it's like it's our thing. But it's got that feel like it's the House, like, you know, this can be overturned anytime by anybody. And then you got the district court, which it seems to me, because this district is federal, right? These are federal appointees. And then I go, well, this is the more serious court. This is like the Senate. So, you know, the House side can be all Fruit Loop legislation and all of that. But when it gets to be the Senate, then it's the serious stuff. So we got a guy over at this. He's in district court because he basically stole from the U.S. mail. That's a federal crime. And so now they've got him. And I guess the deal is he pleads guilty. Well, you know, that'll be the plea bargain. And just so we can get you out of the system as quickly as possible, you plead guilty, and we'll let you off, you know, with... I'm wondering in this one here what he's going to get. Maximum penalty for possession of stolen mail is 5 years' worth of imprisonment in a federal prison. So I'm wondering what this guy is going to be getting in exchange for his plea. But more so than that is, who says everybody gets a plea? I don't get that. I mean, that's what I'd do if I was a guy and I got busted for something. That's the first thing I'd do. First thing I'd do is I'd go and say, can I make a plea? Can I make a plea? But any attorney that would be working with me, any AG prosecutor would be working with me is, well, yeah, you can plea out any way you want to. It doesn't make any difference to us. And we might talk about some kind of a settlement. What do you have to offer? Simply my guilty plea is not sufficient. You're the prosecutor. You already got an indictment on me. You should be able to see that all the way through. So what is it that this guy stood to offer the prosecutors that he deserves the plea? I'm sorry, guilty, 6 years, bang, goodbye. And you're not allowed to go anywhere near a post office ever again. No, can't even go to ITC because there's a post office right behind it. That'd be how I did it. My God, your life would suck after that. Remind me to go and check out the War Monument and the exhibits over at the not the legislature, at the museum. It looks like something I need to do. I have seen over at AutoSpot, I want to say it was a year ago or so, the exhibit where they've got the names of all of the survivors and folks, in fact, that were on Guam basically at the time of the occupation. And it's bittersweet. You know your family's name is in there somewhere, and you go, and pretty soon you find it and go, yeah. And in a couple of cases, these are people I never met. I never met my great-grandfather, James Holland Underwood. I never knew his wife, Ana Bolena Underwood. They tell me she was a terror. They tell me little kids teased her because she was so mean. This is Guam, 1930s and 40s, you know. You got 20,000 people live here. Everybody knew everybody. And back in those days, they didn't have talk radio. They made songs about you. And I'll sing a verse of it. And if you speak Chamorro, you'll laugh like Beavis and Butthead. And if you don't, you'll just go, oh, well, what a pretty melody. Ana Bolena, Otung Babet. Yeah. I don't know the rest of the words of that song. They didn't teach me it. Anyway. You okay there, Joe? Yeah, and then it goes, then that's just today's paper. And then it goes into the all of the different I hate Donald Trump articles that that the Washington Post and the LA and the New York Times write about him. So anyways, you got some of that. 888-825-5888-TALK. What are we up to here? 10 away from the top of the hour? Is there more riffing that can be done? I don't know. What's Shelley say? Somebody needs to look at the shower curtain. That's an interesting invitation. Lady D says, for coffee pots, just pour vinegar and turn it on. That'll clear up and speed up the coffee. I use paper filters for my coffee in the morning, so I don't have to worry about that. And my coffee machine thing is okay. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad to eat that stuff, because I don't know for sure if it is. Because as near as I can tell, it's just calcium, right? Just some kind of rock, some kind of mineral. I've always and as has already been pointed out, they always say how safe it is. So I don't worry too much about that. It's just kind of unsightly that everything that I wash, I feel like I have to wash twice. The other reason, Lady D, that I don't do that thing with the vinegar in the coffee maker is because I always used to hate it when it would happen to me. I'd walk into somebody's kitchen and I'd smell that and go, adobo! We're having adobo for lunch! Oh, no, we're just cleaning the coffee pot. You sit on a throne of lies. You and your vinegar in the coffee pot. What's the matter with you? Anyway, 10 away from the top of the hour. There are a few other items in the table of contents that don't have anything to do with today's front page of the Guam Daily Post. I'll try to remember to share that with you on the other side of these important messages.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data-to-Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data-to-Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Got this. It's part of a secret chat. I'm allowed to be in secret chats because nobody elected me. I'm just a guy on the radio, guy from the village with an interesting job. And every once in a while, I'll get something that says not for attribution, which means you can say it on the air, but don't say my name. All right. And this is what it says. Governor will be rescinding the call of 10 a.m. special session and will be calling us into special again right after. We'll send out a call to session for 2 hours after receipt. Per the Speaker, a revised bill will be sent down. Governor Liu is rescinding and replacing the bill. Speaker anticipates going into session 2 hours thereafter. And what is this about? Oh, this is the PFAS bill. Governor Lulian Guerrero has called the legislature into special session this morning to consider a bill authorizing the Attorney General to join a growing list of jurisdictions filing lawsuits against the makers of polyfluoroalkyl chemicals that have tainted water here on Guam and across the nation. That special session, again, slated to begin at 10 this morning, but the governor says no on the busted on the special session. I will send out another bill, and then you guys can go into a special session after that. And this is the one where we can let's get General Camacho on some of the authority of the government of Guam to go in and stand in the end of this line on the PFAS lawsuit. You suppose that will solve all of our problems? Wonder what kind of money they're anticipating getting. I don't know. It's going to be interesting one way or the other. Ken, how you doing there, bud?
Fine. I'm just interested. I just find it fascinating how the governor continues to hold herself above the law. Because as I recall, the governor can call a special session and waive public notice and public hearings in the event of a natural disaster, a financial emergency, or a public health emergency.
Yeah. Well, is this a public health emergency? Because the GWA is always telling us how safe their water is.
So, yeah, that pretty much knocks out the public health emergency.
Right?
Maybe it could be construed.
Should I not drink water anymore? Yeah, Ken, you know, I love, people know me, know how much I love my water. I take a significant amount of water in products like Asahi Super Dry and Bud and Heineken Light, which are mostly water.
Yeah, but they're not GWA water, so you're good. You're good there.
I should be all right. So I guess we should avoid GWA water because apparently there's just speckles of PFAS in it, and especially with the fact that the Pentagon has found PFOS in the groundwater or drinking water at 126 military bases so far. So I'm trying to find on a website because it's only fun to me if I get it off somebody's bedwetting website where people are all freaked out. DuPont 3M knowingly contaminated drinking water across the U.S. Lawsuits allege, so companies with names like DuPont and 3M. Doesn't that sound like payday? That sounds like ka-ching, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know, the same thing happened when they were talking about filing suit against the Navy over the Ordot landfill, and we see how far that has progressed.
Yeah, so I just... That's what I think. I mean, there's, as far as I know, no public service emergency. It all just comes down to wanting to make sure that we get our share of damages, like New York and New Jersey, New Hampshire, etc.
Well, maybe this could be another case for the Ethics Commission, except for we don't have an Ethics Commission yet. And the Ethics Commission hasn't set up their rules and regulations and policies and procedures yet. And they won't be able to until they take a trip to New York City and go by the United Nations as well to see how the United Nations Ethics Committee is set up. And then they're probably going to want to go to Switzerland to see how their Ethics Committee is set up.
Mm-hmm.
So I predict the Ethics Committee will stand up in 2030.
That early?
Hey, you know, this is the administration that...
It only took them 2 decades to be able to actually nominate people and have the legislature back them up on the nominations for the Executive Commission or the Ethics Commission. So just getting to that point took forever. We've got a recycling revolving fund from which dollars are taken from with regularity, beside the fact that there are no rules and regulations that I'm aware of that have been adopted for the recycling revolving fund. So we start talking about, you know, these commissions being able to put their own rules, et cetera, together. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah. So I'm not going to... It's just interesting how the administration just continues to ignore these little details, you know. And that's why we've already got 7 out of 10 meetings scheduled for our voter initiative process. And one of the items on it is going to be Corrupt Practices Act. We need a RICO here on Guam that the citizens can address. Because every time the government makes a mistake, it costs taxpayers millions of dollars, and there's no recourse for the citizens. Or the
I like it when they make a mistake and then they investigate themselves and find no mistakes.
Yeah.
Like the Ancestral Lands Commission.
Oh yeah, and the multi-million-dollar lots up on Barragata Heights. You know, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, we checked. We didn't do anything wrong. We checked. We looked into all of our records, and there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, like right now we're obeying all the laws regarding public notice for legislation. That's going to cost money.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to, I mean, getting the Attorney General's office to throw a dog in this fight is going to cost, you know, at least $1 million or $2.
Didn't it feel like gambling? Didn't it feel like a roll of the dice? Look, we don't know what the heck is going to happen. We just go in there and hope that New York and New Jersey and New Hampshire and some of the other plaintiffs in this case have got better lawyers than us. We'll just stand around in the back and wait for the checks to come in.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to ride on one of their lawyers.
Yeah, that's my point. That's exactly what's going to happen. And you know, it's like we're going to make a class action? Who's leading it? Mike Phillips, Dave Lohan? I'm in. Yeah, father touched me inappropriately.
But you know, so right now we're cutting the MIP program, and contrary to popular belief, most of the people on NMIP are working people.
Yeah, well, you know what? Out of time to talk about that. You waited too late to buzz in, so we'll start earlier tomorrow.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, Ken, you have a good day. 10 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG. See, look, I was able to kill another 4 hours on a Monday. Short week this week. No Ray Gibson show on Thursday. Stop applauding. I hate that. Stand by now. Fox News Live. It's still Sunday in the States, so we got a bunch of non-right-wing bomb throwers. We'll get those guys back on the radio tomorrow. Here it comes, Fox News Live.
Heading home after making history, I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. With 20 steps, President Trump became the first sitting American president to cross the border into North Korea.
Stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made.
The president and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un then sat down for roughly 50 minutes in the demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea. The talks not considered a summit, though President Trump says one is coming. Fox's Tucker Carlson will have an exclusive interview with the president to talk about all of it tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Fox News Channel. She hasn't been on the job for long, just a couple days. Sunday, a rough day for the president's new press secretary, Stephanie Grisham. She was roughed up by North Korean officials outside the room where the two leaders were meeting. That sound, courtesy the Washington Post. Grisham suffered some bruises, but is said to be none the worse for wear. Republicans say President Trump advanced the peace process in North Korea, and that Democrats should give him credit for that. Not happening.
It is historic. But what has been done? Nothing.
Congressman Tim Ryan on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures. On State of the Union, Senator Amy Klobuchar also calling it little more than a photo op.
He keeps having these summits and meetings that really don't produce anything.
Former Vice President Joe Biden